kaiju lovers and friends, fan foes, and everything in between. Yes, this is a rare instance where my author YouTube channel and my kaiju podcast, the Monster Island Film Vault, gets to cross over, and I'm still trying to figure out how exactly to position all this stuff. I'm experimenting with a slightly different location for tonight, and look who's in the chat. Who made that awesome intro? Well, her name is Kim, and she's really cool, and people should hire her to make cool videos like that. I'm just saying. You know? You should give her a call, Kaiju Kim. But anyway, who is my guest of honor tonight? Who has made this crossover possible? Well, he is none other than the author of this book, G Cinema, a celebration, exploration, I should say, and celebration of Japan's Monster King. Please welcome Danny DiManna.
Why, hello there. How's it going? I can't.
I was going to say, was that your princess training there? Because that's what they would do, right? They would make the royal ladies put books on their heads, and they had to keep them up there so they could work on their posture.
I don't think that's what that was.
Oh.
What that was, Nathan. That's just me being a little tired, a little goofy, a little silly, and I figured, you know what? 2 hats. Like, you know, it's a fashion statement, really.
It's a fashion statement.
Yeah.
I have to say, I have done
radio, man. Nobody's gonna know what I'm talking about.
Well, it's even better live streaming. I was gonna say this is probably, we've done a lot of live streams and podcasts together, but I think this is the dapperest I have seen you.
Oh yes. I'm trying something new, as you can see. I've been told that I look thoroughly adequate. Thoroughly adequate. Again, this makes for great radio. Hey, listeners, I know you don't give a crap, but I've got a hat. I've got like a nice little like touring cap. I got this in Ireland last year. I've got a nice little shirt, but you can't hide it because I do have a nice Godzilla graphic tee underneath. So it's I can only be so.
Yes. Who's on the graphic tee today?
Oh, that would be, as he hoists himself up unceremoniously, Godzilla 2000.
There you go.
Yes,
that's a fun word for some odd reason. Hoist.
That is a good word. It's a good Transformer name and a good word.
Yeah, I actually just wrote that word in a script last night.
Did you?
Yeah.
Whoa. Hot darn.
Yeah. So we've got a handful of people in the chat today. So we had Kim. We also have Jane Meyer. She says, "Hi, Nathan and Kim." Well, you got to, and then she remembered you exist.
Well, that's nice to know. Thanks, Jane. I'm your favorite here. I get it, but still, the truth hurts, you know.
Well, and then Kim had, not to be outdone, did the same thing, but in all caps.
Daddy!
With a heart.
So here's the thing: is Kim. I'm always so excited to see Kim that we routinely, not coordinate. I communicate with her largely through just screaming and yelling out of joy, really. So this tracks, you know. This tracks. Yep. I hope you're having a good night, Kim.
Yeah, I'm not sure what this is. What's going on? Well, we got an LOL here. I'm not sure what's going on here.
I don't know.
WTH, dude. What the Henshin? What?
Well, I don't know. Either he's talking about your new background or my poor chaste and hat wear. So I don't know. We'll never
Miss Meyer, I have introduced him.
Yes, I mean, maybe. I don't know. Have I introduced me? Who am I? What am I doing here? Who am I? Why am I?
That's one of my questions tonight, actually.
Oh, well, I mean, if you haven't figured it out by now, then I can't help you. But maybe.
Well, and our friend Elijah says, I hoisted myself from the Delta.
Okay. Elijah, you sure did. You know.
Okay. Kim, this is dangerous. You know this is dangerous, especially when Danny and I are involved here. What the hoist?
You got to, Kim, I love you. Don't give him any more catchphrases. He has so many catchphrases. He doesn't need 49th catchphrase. No, you know what? I'll take it. I'll take it.
You have a lot of catchphrases too.
I feel like I don't. Do I? I don't know. You know what?
The problem is you've coined so many that you just forget. and then some of your friends latch onto them,
Or straight up steal them if you're named Mathan Narchand.
Oh, I hate that guy.
Straight up. Well, I mean, he has his moments. It's fine. Who else we got in here?
He has his moments. I should probably let everybody know, because you can probably hear it. I'm a little under the weather tonight, which is why I'm going to. I know this is very out of character for me. I'm going to try not to talk as much. It's an interview anyway, so Danny needs to do, the lion's share of the speaking.
Oh, that part I'm not going to clap for. That's less good.
Although I have to say, since we're here talking about, congratulations, by the way, on your first book. I am excited so much for you, because I remember what that was like, and it was a feeling, let me tell you. In fact, if you go onto my author YouTube channel, go all the way back to the first video I ever did, it was me opening the first shipment of my first book and just being overjoyed by the fact, like, it's real.
It's real.
And the other thing that I was thinking about this the last couple of days, we've done a lot of podcasts together. I haven't got quite through the entire book. I'm in the middle of the Destroy It chapter right now.
Oh, the uplifting one. Nice. Cool.
Yeah. So very happy. But Kim is probably having a nervous breakdown right now.
Then we should move on.
Yeah, we probably should. But what it is, what I'm thinking is, when I was reading this, like, man, it's like we've had conversations about this stuff. We've podcasted about a lot of these things. And I realized, like, I have jokingly, when I've had you on the show, if you throw in a ton of information that I couldn't find anywhere else and you couldn't remember where you saw it, I would just list Danny's brain as a source. Yes. Well, I've just got a transcription of Danny's brain.
that is more accurate than I am comfortable admitting. But yes, a lot of this was the Danny brain dump into word form, into book form. A lot of that stuff's been rattling around in my head for 1,000 years, and we'll obviously cycle back to this later on, but it did require, obviously, I can't just put it in the book because I remembered it. I have to source it. So I had to go back and find a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, that first chapter, sir, you didn't need to go that hard.
Yeah, I did.
1,500 years of history in like 20 pages. That was insane.
Yep. I thank you. I'm taking that as a compliment, but I had never seen it.
There you go. Hashtag Danny brain dump.
There we go. That's horrifying. Thank you, Kim, for that. That's great. I don't know. The word, we're talking about how cool the word hoist is. I don't know. The word dump is not as good. It's got, I don't know about that, but it was funny. But yes, that first chapter is crazy. We'll obviously talk more about it later on, but yeah. I'd never seen a Godzilla book start like that. Figured I'd try.
Apparently, Jane knows things. Been collecting thoughts and facts since he was 6.
Exactly 6. That's pretty. She's my lawyer, so she knows everything about this.
Oh,
yeah. There you go. Yeah.
There you go. But let's get into these questions. So there might actually be some people, particularly those who are watching on my author YouTube channel, who don't know who you are. So who the heck are you?
A question I ask myself every morning when I rise and look in the mirror and go, oh, like, who is this guy? Okay, I have to cut down on the self-deprecation. So for real, guys. So my name is Elijah Thomas. I host the Kaiju Conversation podcast, and I can't commit to the bit. I'm gonna laugh. I can't commit to the bit.
Hashtag identity theft.
I mean, if you're gonna steal from the best, right? Love you, Elijah. So my name for real this time is Daniel DiManna. That's, oh my gosh, where do I even start? I feel like I do so many crazy, wacky things. By day, I'm a professional writer by trade, which is incredibly cool. I'm a creative writer by trade. I do creative marketing when I'm not writing about monster movies, and when I'm not doing that, it's film history. I'm a film historian. I've been a writer for many, many years now, and now I'm incredibly lucky to be able to add published author to that. I'd gotten short stories published before, and obviously I've written here and there and everywhere for other things, essays and such, but I now have a book. So there you go, published author for a book. I also, oh my gosh, I dabble occasionally in kaiju stuff. It's a passing fancy for me. Sometimes, sometimes I can't help myself, and I do things like this to my kitchen. It's great.
Wait, that's your kitchen?
This is, if I tore this wall of VHS tapes down, you would see my refrigerator. Yeah, it's
priorities.
Listen, man, it's you got to do what you got to do. Where else was all this stuff going to go? Come on. For the listeners, I am so sorry, but I am currently sitting in my apartment, and my backdrop is a wall of VHS tapes, Godzilla VHS tapes that I built about 5-6 years ago as a COVID lockdown sanity project. And I've been adding to it and rearranging it, and I had to take it down and I put it back up. But it's like it's a really cool, I think, kind of a cool backdrop. Because it's so colorful. But yeah, in addition to my monster stuff, I also do the occasional bit of voice acting as well. Goodness, I've sung a couple of theme songs for some people. I sing. I do music.
Yeah. You underestimate your ability as a singer, I have to say.
I underestimate everything I do. Like going any further and rattling off all this stuff is like I'm like genetically incapable of doing it, because it just sounds like bragging to me.
Well, you want me to help you out with this little author bio here? Is that?
Oh, you know what? There you go. You know what? I'll do it. I got it here.
Okay.
I got my own. I got a copy of this giant orange thing here. Let's see. Daniel DiManna, loser, is a film historian, artist. Oh, I do art too. I forgot. Artist, voice actor, and professional goober. And that is true. Award-winning marketing writer by day and an unapologetic monster nerd by night. Daniel is the author of multiple short stories and novellas, and the creator of the Godzilla Novelization Project, which is what I usually start with when I go on to shows. I've done interviews for the last probably 7-8 years. You gave me my first one years ago. I was
going to say, yeah.
Yes. And that's usually what I start with. And I feel like now I gotta start with the book. My goodness. Academic writing has been published via multiple magazines and websites. Frequent panelist at G-Fest, has worked with SRS Cinema on commentaries, all this stuff. Kaiju podcasts, lives in Ohio, surrounded by toys, surrounded by DVDs. That's me in what I think was a 3 or 4 minute long nutshell. Probably a little too long. It's a lot.
Yeah, well, the chat is adding to it, so let's not forget the holiday classic Santa Gas is coming to town.
Oh, one of my favorite things. Oh my gosh. If anybody out there needs something fun and like just genuinely charming to check out like during the Christmas season, Kim has a beautiful running joke with where she dresses up a Gauss toy in a Santa outfit, and I was commissioned to write and perform Santa Claus is Coming to Town, but with a Gauss theme a couple of years ago, and I actually quite like how it turned out. It's very funny.
Was that? No, I think that was a separate video originally, but she showed it during her charity live stream. I'm trying to remember. Was that the one where you and I did the ad lib when we were doing our impersonations, or was that when I was Schwartz and Zilla?
I actually don't recall which one that one.
Yeah,
was.
I can't remember now.
I don't recall.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, Elijah has written his own novel, it seems, here.
Yeah. Danny is also a prop maker, producer, and makes a cameo in the In Search of Tomorrow documentary. He also has done commentary work on War of the Ninja Monsters.
This is true. One of the coolest things I've been able to add to my bona fides over the last few years is working as a copywriter, copy editor, audio commentator, film historian, creative consultant, and probably the most important one of those, moral support for Elijah when he does all the stuff he does for SRS Cinema. So a lot of the SRS releases you'd never know, and it's not important that people know I worked on them, but a lot of them have copy editing that I did. Uh-oh, am I back?
No. Okay. Here we are.
Okay,
You
we
bugged
are.
out there for a second. So you said all the copy editing you did.
Oh boy, copy editing on a lot of SRS stuff. It's something that not a lot of people like. I don't need people. They don't have to know I did all this stuff. It's invisible work, but it's copy editing, copywriting, synopsis tweaking, and just little bits of cool things for the SRS releases. And
well, that subtly puts the Dragon Lizard Lord sequel back cover copy into a whole other perspective for me.
I'm gonna be real. I honestly don't remember if I touched that one. I don't think I did.
Okay, I was gonna say if that was you, you were on a C day at that point. That was not Danny A game right there.
Here's the thing about, and we're gonna get off of this in a second, but Omar, the gentleman who makes the Dragon Lizard Lord films, if somebody asked me to like touch up or rewrite anything, I would refuse, because those movies are so very much a part of his heart. And they're just right out of his creative mind. And to me, it's so like of the author, right? That if I touch it, it doesn't feel right. It just doesn't feel like I should change any of that. So that's one thing I wouldn't have touched if it had been offered to me. But the other thing I must mention is, and this is coming out via SRS, but it is an independent project. There's a documentary coming out very soon. And I'll cycle back around to that when I do my little blurb at the end where I prattle on about things I've done. But there's a documentary coming out.
I was saying we call that something around
here. I don't know
what is it again?
You know what? It's just say it. Just say it. Just go ahead.
Yeah.
Just go ahead. Just
what is it?
Fine. I'm ready. Just do it.
The shameless self-promotion, I think it's.
I thought he was going to yell it. Okay, I was all scared there for a second.
Well,
okay.
I'm under the weather, man.
So, okay. All right. Well,
so it's a little harder to do that.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
Well, apparently apparently Elijah remembers everything.
He does. No, Elijah does remember everything, and this is one reason why Elijah is a tremendous human being. Is anytime he'll just send me these things just to remind me that I've done as much as I have, because sometimes as a creative person, I'm sure you can relate to this. It's sometimes a little tricky to look back at your catalog of work and think, man, I really have done a lot of stuff. Like I've been very fortunate to do a lot of cool things. And, you're always thinking about what you're working on now. And you're always thinking about what's next on the list. What's the next book? What's the next anything? And sometimes it pays to look back and look at that stuff, not from a self-importance perspective, never from that, but from a perspective of, I am a blessed person. I'm incredibly fortunate. And Elijah kind of intuitively knows when I sometimes need to hear that. And he'll send me things like this. And it's incredibly touching.
Right. So for those who... Yes. Oh, sorry.
He has... He has listed off, Elijah here has listed off Liverleaf. These are all SRS Blu-rays, by the way. War of the Ninja Monsters, Outer Man, Yuzo, Dene's Chaos, Hoshi 35, Saurian's Attack, which is about to come out, and Brush of the God, which has a lot of stuff in it that I had some work on. By the way, just for the sake of anybody who might not know who I'm talking about, you really should. This is Elijah Thomas. This is the guy who does all the SRS Blu-ray bonus feature work. This is the guy who is directing the upcoming Keizo Murase documentary. This is the guy who has one of the most rad podcasts out there, the Kaiju Conversation podcast, an incredible website with all kinds of great resources. So I'm going to talk you up now, man. Here comes your list in my interview. We're changing it up. You see how I make it not about me. You see how I can't do that.
I noticed. But I just want to say this, since apparently I got to talk both of you up here.
Ooh,
the more I hear about Brush of the God, and I actually got to play a small part in this Blu-ray as well. I won't say what yet, but because I've been told that what I did, or I should say what I participated in, is actually an Easter egg.
Oh, but you weren't supposed to say that.
Oh, well, darn it. Anyway.
Thank you. You ruined it. Thank you.
Yeah. Just destroyed. Anyway, but I do think this is going to be one of the most stacked releases, not only from SRS, but I think one of the most stacked tokusatsu physical media releases of the year. And if people gave awards for like physical, like Toku or Kaiju physical media release of the year, I would toss this one in.
Well,
Unironically, I would toss this one in.
I certainly hope that when it is made available, that it meets with that very lofty compliment. We're working very hard on it. Elijah is moving actual mountains for this, and yeah.
He's still going too.
He's still going. I did work on Sharkdemic. I did. I forgot about Sharkdemic. Oh yes. This year I am a Rondo Hatton Classic Horror Award nominated writer.
Yeah, you've joined the ranks with Elijah and I, because we also were in a Rondo nominated book.
I have ascended to the next next.
Apparently, you were also a backer for Hal Beyond the Fog, Brush of the God, and another movie or two. Because
I've got my name in a lot. I got my name in the credits of like 3 or 4 Mystery Science Theater episodes. I've got my name in the credits for almost all of the In Search ofs. I thank you, Kim. She says y'all are awesome. You're awesome, Kim. You're awesome. You're an amazing human being. I'm very lucky to be surrounded by cool people, and those cool people help motivate me to do cool things. I'm nothing without my support group. You guys are wonderful.
Right. So, did you mention where you're from? Because I think you did.
I did.
That was one of my other questions.
Yeah. I'm from Northwest Ohio, a little town called Sylvania near Toledo. So if you've ever watched MASH, I live 20 minutes from Tony Pacco's in the Mud Hens. You're welcome.
That's great.
Yeah, I literally I can pretty much see Pacco's from my office at my job. It's right. I've been there who knows how many times. It's right there. And Jamie Farr does occasionally show up and do things. So because he made Toledo famous. And
have you met him?
I have not met Jamie Farr. I would love to. He doesn't come around as much anymore. I mean, he's oh my goodness, he's in his 80s now, Jamie Farr. But I've been told he is a lovely human being. I'd love to meet him. I've been here pretty much my whole life. I was up in Michigan for a little bit. I was down near Dayton for the hottest of seconds, but I always end up coming back here. This is my hometown, and I love it. And maybe the wanderlust bug will kick in one day, and I'll be like, "Toodles, I'm out." But I'm very content to live very humbly right now in little Sylvania, Ohio.
Yeah, and by the way, for those who don't know, Jamie Farr played Klinger,
yes,
the supposedly crazy guy on like what was it, like 8 or 9 seasons of MASH? He wasn't there the whole time.
He was there for a lot of it. He was there. I mean, he was in the finale. He came back.
I just feel like he came a few seasons in and then stayed.
Yeah. Once they introduced him, it was like, well, he's amazing. We can't not have Jamie Farr on this show, dressing as the Statue of Liberty, trying to convince people that he's crazy. Like, so he had apparently just read
Catch-22.
Oh, there you go. Very similar. So there you go. That's MASH. Go watch MASH, everybody. This is now MASH Cast.
MASH Cast, yeah. I think it is honestly my dad's favorite show, and so I've seen a lot of it. Yeah.
He has good taste.
Yeah, Danny was also, according to Elijah, a copy editor for Visual Bandits from SRS. I think I've gotten everything I need to break up from Danny's work.
I think you have. I think you covered all of it, man. Thank you for that. Was really wonderful to see all of that. It makes me happy. Reminds me how very, very fortunate I am to get to do this stuff and the amazing opportunities that I've gotten. And oh my gosh, I could gush about how grateful I am for all this stuff until the cows come home. But then I won't be able to answer your cool questions.
Yes. So now let's get to the heart of the matter.
Let's do it.
What is G Cinema, and who's your publisher?
Well, it's a book, genius. And got him.
It wasn't Beavis this time. That was an improvement.
Well, I'm saving that one. It's on the list next to Chuckles. It's on the list.
Chuckles,
Beavis.
Yeah, I did. He has a laundry list of insulting nicknames.
And you've earned every one. So G Cinema is a book that I don't know. I've been describing it to myself as the book I always knew I wanted to write, but never thought I'd get a chance to, or that there would ever be an opportunity or even a need to. It's the dream project that I I dare I say I never fully let myself dream it in some ways, because who goes there, who gets to do things like this? But I'd be lying if I said I didn't dream it. So G Cinema is a project that has been pretty much in the making since I was 6 years old, if you think about it. My
Yeah,
publisher.
actually, I probably should have asked you about that. Your love of Godzilla. You've told that story
Mhm.
before, but
I
yeah,
have.
can we backtrack really quick so we
Let's
can hear
backtrack. Yeah.
that part of the Danny origin story, because that's very pertinent to this.
It actually is. It's a story I've told before. I told it the first time you interviewed me, 18 quintillion years ago. But
Feels like that.
it really does. It really, can you
It was
believe
before it was before the dark times,
before
before the COVID.
the dark times, Luke? It's been a minute. It's been 8 years, if you can believe it. But my story with this stuff, and I'll try to keep this brief. I don't know how interesting or not interesting this is. It's me talking about myself, but uh my journey with this stuff goes back to when I was in first grade. Dinosaurs, yes, please. Crazy science fiction, yes, please. Star Wars, yes, please. Indiana Jones, absolutely. Stuff like that. The usual suspects. And obviously, dinosaurs were very important to me. If you were to turn this thing around, you'd see a lot of dinosaurs in my home. I don't tend to grow out of the things that it made me happy as a child. If they made me happy as a child, they make me happy now. And so I'm still very much inspired by them, and I keep them around me. And there was a specific day where I went to go visit a friend. And this friend, my gosh, had a theater set up in the basement. And this was, 2000, right? So 2000, 2001, right? It's certainly not what a home theater would look like now. But for little tiny first grade me, ho, it was amazing. It was a wall that was a movie screen in somebody's home, and it blew my mind. And this was a couple of years after a certain film of the tri-starish variety had come out. So I was somewhat cognizant of who Godzilla was, just because I'd lived through the 1998 marketing blitz. And I hadn't seen the film, and I didn't really know that much about what was going on. It was always something that was in the back of my head. I knew the character, like, I knew that the character was, but I didn't know who he was or why he was until this day in this basement, when the movie that we were watching on this big old screen happened to be Godzilla 2000, the dub, which had just come out on VHS and DVD. And my jaw hit the floor, popped off of my skull, shot down to the ground like the genie in Aladdin, and just kind of sat there on the ground for the next probably 45 minutes. Bugs started flying into my mouth. It was really awkward. I finally got it reattached, but after I had to go to the hospital, it was a whole thing. No, I was completely hooked. I'd never seen anything like that. To this day, I cannot watch Godzilla 2000 without a total recall taking place. I know exactly every emotion I felt at 6 years old watching that film. All these years later, I feel it every single time I watch it. It was that imprinted on my brain. It was one of those life-changing nerd moments, I guess, and exacerbated by the fact that we got about 2/3 of the way through to the moment when the UFO flies off over the bridge after it shed the rock. And that's when my dad came to pick me up. Bam, done. Couldn't finish the film. Uh, that was a bummer. That was a big deal when you're 6 years old. That stung. And I went home, and as 6-year-old kiddos are oft one to do, the first thing I did was go to my mom and go, "Mom, this was the most amazing thing I've ever seen." I'm talking her ear off, bless her heart, her patience, amazing. And she looked down at me and she said, there are like a lot more of these. Like, there are more. There are a lot more. My jaw pops off again. I had to go back to the hospital. It was a whole thing. So a couple days later, and by we I mean my mother and my younger brother and I, jumped into the car, went down to our local library. That was my video store growing up. I'm of the tail end of the video store generation, and I got my tapes from my local library, and they had a whole section with a little card sticking out with a G written on it. You go right to that. They're the Godzilla films, and we brought home Mothra versus Godzilla and Monster Zero. both the Scimitar tapes for anybody who knows what I'm talking about. You might even actually, for people on the stream, the one I'm pointing at right now, that's the Mothra tape that I got. Not the exact one, but that's the one. And then
I'm amazed you know where all of them are, because I think approximately 57% of all of those VHS tapes are Godzilla versus Megalon.
Yes. I'm actually sitting in front of the Megalon collection, so you can't see it. I've got like 30 or 40 of them, and they're all different because I have a problem, but it's okay. But that's where it really all started for me.
And he still doesn't have all of them.
I still don't have all. I'm still missing 8 or 9. I'm getting close, guys. This is what I do instead of like.
Can you send me the list? So in case I ever find one, I'll be like, well, I know what I'm getting Danny for Christmas.
You know what? I will send you that list. I will not say no to Christmas Megalon for Christmas. I will not say no to that.
Megalon for Christmas.
Megalon
Christmas. Oh crap. Kim, you got to do another song with Danny. Megalon for Christmas.
I want a Megalon for Christmas. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, it writes itself. It really does. Like I said, I don't grow out of like the stuff that I love. I love Transformers. I love all this stuff, and I still love all of that stuff. And as I got taller, as I was growing older, I haven't quite grown up yet. I'm still working on that. Just kidding. But I am getting
progress.
Yes, new holiday classic, Kim says, for Megalon. I agree. It's in progress. We're gonna make this happen. Slight deviation. My very dear friend Jay Key of Toku Toy Town fame.
We all love Jay Key.
One of the real ones. I love that man. He is such a big heart on him. He's a dear human being. Has more than once told me that I should do a kaiju Christmas album. In addition to Santa Gauss, I should do another like 10 or 11 and do like a Christmas album of like.
I'm getting Megalon for Christmas right there.
It's right there. That's song number 2.
I'm sure somehow you can make a like O Tannenbaum or Christmas Tree about Biollante.
I'm sure it could happen. I'll add that to my very long list of things I'm currently writing. I might have to push that one back a little bit. I have to write a short film for Kim first before I can write any more songs. That's all I'm gonna say. So as I continue to get older, this stuff did not, like, my interest in this stuff did not fade.
Good luck.
Absolutely did not. You know what? For you, Kim, I will rearrange my priorities. 100%. I will rearrange my priorities.
Anyway, done derailing the conversation.
Yes, I didn't grow out of this stuff. My love for this stuff only amplified as it got older. And round about high school, something clicked in my brain, and I said, you know what? I've been watching the same handful of Godzilla films that I owned for years. It was like maybe 8 or 9 films. I had a local store called Media Play when I was younger. And I want to say that was regional. So there are probably not that many people out there who remember Media Play, but if you do, then you do. And it's a good memory. I guarantee it. And that's where I got the middle 3 Heisei films, watched those on repeat. Finally found Godzilla 2000, got to finish it, watched it on repeat.
It only took you 10 years?
Well, it took me, I'll tell you what, it felt like 10 years, but it was really more like only 3. But when you're this high off the ground, 3 years feels like an eternity. So I felt like I aged a decade trying to get to that film, but I think I probably found it around 2003 or 4. That was it. It wasn't that later. So I watched it. No,
for me that was Terror of Mechagodzilla. I saw half of it and then was obsessed with finding it so I could see. Except I saw the last half. You saw the first half.
Mm-hmm. I tell you what, it was earlier than that. It would have been 2002 or 2003 because I also had Destroy All Monsters Melee that I played on the GameCube over and over and over and over and over again. And it was a self-perpetuating cycle, right? Where I'm 9 years old and I want to go watch a Godzilla movie and I get done with it and I'm like, now I want to play it. So I go get the game, or I feel like I'm in a gaming mood and then I get done playing adventure mode. And you know what I'm talking about. And I'm like, well, now I got to watch a Godzilla movie, gosh darn it. So it was just the self-perpetuating thing, but it was with less than a dozen of the films. And round about 14 years old or so, I said, you know what? I got to learn. I want to learn more. Something clicked in my brain and I became not just an audience member or an observer. I really wanted to dig in. My research gene kicked in, and that's when I fell down the Toho Kingdom rabbit hole, as many people often do. Yes, it was very good stuff, and all this stuff I started learning. I got Dave Callett's book pretty darn quick after that. Yes. Still to this day, an absolute treasure to me. I adore it.
I want you to remember, Danny, you have joined the ranks with Mr. Callett and all the rest of them now.
That's terrifying to me. Oh, that's like, I think that was around the time when I realized, because I got that book. That was a gift. That was a birthday gift from my mother. Thank you, Mom. This is all your fault. You took me to.
I've heard you make that joke before, but it's funny every time.
It's funny every time. Not because of me, but because it's true. It's funny because it's true. It's in the book. I put that line in the book because it's true. She brought me to the library. She got me the video game. She got me the tape. She got me this book, and that has just continued on and on. So this is your fault. This is your fault. Sorry, Mom. I'm calling it as it is. But it just continued to grow from there. I fell down the rabbit hole. I got this book. I started getting pardon me. I got as many books as I possibly could. And circa 2007, 2008, there weren't that many. There's just a handful of the usual suspects. It was Steve Rifle's book. It was Stuart Galbraith's book. It was amazing stuff. And it wasn't a lot. My mom is amazing, Jane. She rocks, in fact, as it turns out. You're welcome. So I that was it for me. I was in. I was completely sucked in. I wanted to learn as much as I could. It became not an obsession. It's something about it just made me happy to learn about it. So I just dove in. That's the thing about being a Godzilla fan that I think is kind of universal. As I've grown older, I've started to, it's become more clear to me that if you stop and ask a Godzilla fan why they are a fan of this thing, why, what is the deal? And it's something that people like me and you, I'm sure, get asked all the time. What is it? It's weird, right? Like, it's weird to try to explain it to people. It's an odd thing. Why not something that's more A, B, C, or D, or less A, B, C, or D? You've heard it. You've heard all.
Yeah, I in fact, well, the most recent time I was asked it was the weirdest one I've ever gotten. Yeah. I don't know if you've ever had this experience, Danny. I will tell this very quickly.
Okay.
I think it was from a coworker. I think he had just been having a bad day at the end of a bad week, and he overheard me talking with another coworker about. Actually, I think it wasn't about Tokusatsu, although we've talked a lot about Tokusatsu, but it's just about nerd stuff. And he just blurted out suddenly, "Do you guys like all this superhero and nerd stuff because it keeps you from putting a bullet in your head?"
And demonetized.
Yeah.
There we go. Right down the toilet there. Wow. That's what a strange thing to say.
It was a very strange thing to say, and he apologized immediately afterward because I think he kind of realized, like, I probably shouldn't have said that.
I probably shouldn't have said that. That's horrible. That's horrible. Wow. Don't internalize that one. Throw it out. Throw it out of there. Don't keep that around. You don't need that energy, man. Don't do it. Wow. So you've heard that one. That one's pretty bad. We've all heard ones that are, some of them are mean. Some of them are well-intentioned, but what's the answer? Why? I would hope that people aren't being constantly put on under a microscope, like, you better answer me right now. But it is an interesting question to ask oneself, and that is why. There are 1,000 different reasons. Well, I like the suits. Well, I like the stories. Well, I love the Japanese culture. Well, I love learning about it. I love the music. I like 1,000 different things.
All of the above?
All of the above. And for me, how I define all of the above, aka answer D on your pop quiz, is it brings me joy. Purely and simply, that it brings me joy. 4 words. It doesn't have to be any more complicated than that, and I don't think it could get any more simple. And that is the only reason you ever need to give to somebody if they're ever like, what do you like this weird thing? like, is it hurting you in any way? Is it
Yeah.
damaging me? Is it no,
Yeah.
it's a monster movie, you know?
Yeah.
And as long as it makes you happy, and it has continued to make me happy, and learning about it has continued to make me happy. And going to G Fest, I went to G Fest in
Yes.
2010, and I've been going every year since. Now
Yeah.
I do stuff for G Fest, you know?
Yeah. Actually, it's interesting because both of those gentlemen are brought up a lot in your book. I got you your first panel at G Fest, and we paneled, and the video is actually here on the MIFV YouTube channel if you would like to go see it. But it was a panel on Sekazawa and Kimura, the screenwriters, and it was far more packed than we thought it would be. We were shocked how many people were there.
There's a lot of people. It was a little room. It was a little room, but
it was a small. Yeah.
But still, it was a standing room in the back. So
yeah.
It was a room that we probably would have filled about half of one of the larger rooms, maybe a little less than, maybe about 2/3 of one of the larger rooms. So
yeah,
it was a
maybe.
lot of. Yeah, it was standing room only.
It was standing room only. But what you're saying there about how it gives me joy, it reminds me of one of the most profound things that I've heard you say. And I've talked with you a lot, I've podcasted with you a lot, I've heard you on other podcasts a lot. But it was when you were it was another interview. If people just love interviewing you,
I guess so.
It was our friend Michael Hamilton back when he was doing the Kaiju Groupie podcast. And I think, if I'm remembering it correctly, it was something on the lines of nesting in your bliss.
Yes, that's right. I did say that. Oh my gosh. That's been a minute too, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Time is certainly a thing. Yeah. Again.
Space is warped, time is bendable.
It really wibbly wobbly, timey wimey. Just saying.
Oh, see, that was an MST3K reference. I thought.
I know. But I swapped it around. I'm adding to the pile. If I were to take this tablet and spin it 360, this is a nest. I'm living in a nest.
Yeah.
This is like you know how crows will find shiny things and stick them in their nest? My VHS collection is the shiny thing in the nest. That's what that is.
Except your shiny things are Godzilla vs. Megalon VHSs.
Yes, they really are. And they're more expensive than free stuff that crows find off the ground.
I mean, if it costs a penny, it's more expensive.
That's fair. That's fair.
Fair.
Some of these tapes shouldn't be worth more than that.
All right. So, and then if you want to talk about the GNP really quick, as that eventually led to the GMP and then to everything else, you can go ahead and do that. Then we'll get back to your publisher.
Yeah. So ever so briefly, this stuff followed me forever. When I was in high school, I fell down a rabbit hole of film novelizations. I thought they were the coolest darn things ever because of all the extra material from, the scripts that you could put into the prose, and you could include deleted scenes, and you could get into people's heads, all this stuff. And I started tinkering around with doing that with the Godzilla films just for fun. And it was, a 16-year-old, 17-year-old kid doing this. So, pardon me, it was foolish to think about that. And but
to quote a certain giant crab, foolish, very foolish.
And I was very foolish. But I ended up dusting it off a few years after I graduated college, just as kind of I don't even know. I try not to get too depressing here, but I had some not particularly nice things occur in my life around. Oh, hello, Elijah.
Okay, that's not entirely accurate, Elijah. 45 minutes into this room, and now we're going to talk about the book. Shit, yes.
Oh my goodness. He knows. He knows how I operate. He knows I was born a rambling man. But some not particularly good things happened in my life around 2018, around there, and I needed something to just keep myself afloat. I was stuck at a job I didn't want to be at, and I was there all hours of the night, and it was draining for me. And I had just graduated a couple years earlier with a Bachelor of Fine Arts from my college, and I was trying to find something creative to do. And so I started the Godzilla Novelization Project just on a whim, because I needed something for me and something that I really hoped other people could get some joy from. I really wanted to do something that, because Godzilla fans have seen these movies 1,000 times. And what I really hoped was possible with the Godzilla Novelization Project was by retelling the stories in prose form as novels. It would be like people discovering them again for the first time, and it would remind them of how much joy these films have brought into their lives. Because especially online, and this is a whole rabbit hole we're not going to get into, I feel like a lot of Godzilla fans online haven't watched a Godzilla film in a long time. Do you ever get that feeling?
Sometimes I wonder if they've watched any.
Sometimes you have to wonder. And it becomes less about a love for the films and more about content and more about my tweet hit 2,000 hits, or all this stuff, and fighting and drama
or
and we're not going to get into.
Or the guy who posts Monarch spoilers.
Yes.
He who shall remain nameless.
We're not going there. I'm not interested in calling anyone out on here. So some not so great stuff, and I've said this to Elijah before too, that once you take all that nonsense away and you boil it down, somewhere down there is a monster that means a lot to all of us. And that's the important thing. And I really wanted to try to celebrate that. I didn't want to make content. I hate the word content.
I do too.
It's not synonymous with art to me. It feels like an assembly line word.
Yeah, it's just when you say content, it's something that takes up space.
Clinical. Yeah, it takes up space. That's a good way to say it.
I don't like it. Even though technically I'm a content creator, but I've kind of learned to hate that term.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer to say I'm a podcaster, a writer, maybe on a good day, a YouTuber, even though I don't exactly feel like a YouTuber. But yeah, not a fan. Holy crap. Well, this is a red letter day for me. D-Man is in the chat. Oh my gosh.
Nice to see you, sir.
100% get that. I've spoken to many creators in the space that either don't watch the movies much or haven't seen them at all. Hot diggity dang. Very I also hate the term content. When talking about movies, TV, books, and so on, I try to say media out of respect. Smart move, D-Man. Smart move.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yes. This has turned into one of my new catchphrases, but that was definitely not on my bingo card. I was not expecting. I didn't even know D-Man knew I existed. So, other than the fact that I bumped into him once or twice at the one time he came to G-Fest. Wow.
He's a cool cat. Thank you for all you do, D-Man. Well, while we've got you here, thank you for all you do. Thank you for being a voice of common sense when often there is none surrounding you. It is very nice. It's nice to have you here. Thank you for tuning in, sir. Oh my gosh. So we've got, where did I stop? Oh, GNP. So that's why I started that. And from there, there's too much to get into. We have to actually talk about this book, but that really was a door opening moment. And I didn't create it to open doors. I created it so that I could maybe make people happy. I know that's very innocent and kind of maybe cheesy to say.
Danny, it's why we love you.
Thank you. It's very Kermit the Frog.
It is. And actually, full disclosure, in my phone, you can give your people in your contacts little nicknames, and my nickname for you in my phone is Pollyanny Danny, just because you love everything. And you're always just happy-go-lucky about life. And I'm like, I don't know how he does it.
If you're not laughing, you're crying, man. You know.
I know, but I'm just like, I don't. You baffle me, sir. I could find the worst kaiju movie ever, drag you onto a podcast, and you would still love it.
I'll accept that challenge,
dude. I've done that to you. We have podcasted about Gamera Super Monster and Yeti Giant of the 20th century.
I could not imagine hating a monster movie. I couldn't imagine. Excuse me. I could imagine not liking one. I could imagine not vibing with one or connecting with one. But
well, and some people would also include Super Inframan, but they are wrong.
Super Inframan is one of the top 1 greatest films ever made. What are you talking about?
I was going to say they are wrong.
They're wrong. It's everybody's entitled to like and dislike whatever they want, but I cannot imagine allocating an emotion as strong as hatred to a film. It's just not in my nature. Disliking or not connecting with, sure, absolutely. That's a thing. I know you don't believe me, but that's a thing that does happen in my life. but hatred, goodness no. I try not to be that person. I try to be glass half full. And that outlook is really that's also opened doors for me too. I think, just because I don't tend to be a negative Nelly, and it's just, I can't do otherwise. I don't know how to be one. I can't do it. But it all snowballed, right? From the GNP, pardon me, it's spiraled into writing opportunities and getting the chance to come onto podcasts like yours over the years, and not just be a guest host, but to be interviewed and to do voice acting. I'd always want to do voice acting, and I've gotten to do other voice acting here and there. And then somebody was like, "Hey, can you sing?" Actually, no, I sang for your show first, and it was a surprise. I didn't tell you I was doing it.
Yes, it was for episode 50 when we did because I'm insane.
Yes.
I was like, let's do a riff track, because I'd always wanted to do a riff track as a longtime fan of MST3K. And you were like, yeah, let's do it. Because you helped put that script together. And, so we ventured to do that. And it was a whole ordeal. I don't want to get into it, but it was a whole ordeal.
It's a long story.
And then, as I am putting the finishing touches on it, lo and behold, sitting in my inbox is a little message from Danny, and I'm like, what's this? And I click on it, and suddenly I am hearing an MIFV flavored version of the MST3K theme. And I was just like, Danny, I love you so much.
Oh man,
this is the greatest thing you have ever done.
Well, I'm glad you liked it. I love surprising my friends with silly little dumb things like that. It's just like it's fun. It's fun to do.
One of your seminal characters on the show never gets anything scripted, so everything he says is a surprise.
He's all ad-libbed, man. He can't write for him. He can't be held down.
He cannot be contained.
That's right.
I need to bring Dorif back. Actually, I think he's supposed to come back at some point.
You let me know. I'm going to start charging you though.
Oh,
things have to change now.
Oh, I was going to say you're important now.
I am not, but because I'm kidding.
Anyway, so it ballooned into all those opportunities, which allows us to then dovetail.
Yes,
to talking about your publisher, Font Hill Media.
Yes,
because in one of the most just like mind-boggling things to me, they came to you and not the other way around. Every other author I have ever talked to, unless they went the self-publishing route, they had to go and make their pitches and make a publisher pay attention and then get them to do it. That was my story. Now, admittedly, I didn't have to go through a ton of publishers, but when I finally got one that got, but after I sent it to like maybe the second or third one, they had it for a while, and then I started bugging them, and then they actually got the ball rolling and got my first book published. That's what I'm used to hearing. That was not the case with you.
It was not the case. So the Cliff Notesy version of this I can possibly tell is that in the latter cold months of 2023, I received an email to the GNPs, the GNP email, which is how most people get in contact with me when they have longer inquiries. They want me to work on a project. They want me to collaborate on something. That's typically where people will reach out to. And I got this email, and it was from a gentleman named Jay Slater. And he, again, Cliff Notes, basically said, we love what you do. We've found your stuff. We love what you do. Would you be interested in doing a book on the history of Godzilla for the publisher, for us? After I regained consciousness, I read it again, passed out again. And then, I got a concussion. A lot of hospital trips in this discussion. So it's very...
I've noticed that. There's a lot of strange dismembering and injuries going on in your life, particularly attached to Godzilla. I'm a little concerned for you, Danny.
Oh, imagine how I must feel.
Yeah.
Considering I'm making all of it up. So.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Although I have to ask, because I've gotten weird emails from people, saying like, "We like your book. We want to do things with it." It's like, did you like run it through every like check and everything to make sure it was all real? And
after I regained consciousness, that's the first thing I did. And I certainly don't mean this as any like accidental like shade thrown at anybody who reaches out, but when I get a lot of inquiries, right? I've had people reach out to me and ask me for interviews. I actually just got a request to go on the radio about 2 weeks ago, a radio interview. And
a local station?
What now?
A local station for you?
Yes. And it was, well, actually, no. No, I'm confusing that. I had another inquiry from a local station, and then I had an inquiry that was national.
But dude, you're going to be like a low-level celebrity for a hot minute. You may as well get used to it.
I refuse. I can't do it. So I got this inquiry, and it was enough of it was red flaggy enough. It was well written. It was well put together. It seemed very legitimate, but something about it was like, okay, I'm not clicking on anything. So I went to the website, and the first thing on the web page was a big box that said, "We're experiencing some spam issues. Somebody claiming to be our CEO or president, one of the two, is currently reaching out to people and offering them fake opportunities. Don't click anything." And I'm like, well, there you go. I'm glad I checked. So that is what I did, because I had actually not heard of my publisher. Fonthill Media is the name of the publisher, and I had not heard of them. It turns out that I just didn't know that they had published a couple of the books that I'd been looking at. And I decided to conduct a couple of little quick searches online just to make sure. And I found a Reddit post where somebody had said like, hey, I got reached out to by somebody named Jay at Fonthill Media, and I wanted to make sure that this was real. And he had a couple of comments back saying, oh yeah, I wrote a book for them 2 or 3 years ago, and the royalties are great, and it's a real thing. And I did a little bit of vetting, and I am thrilled to say that Fonthill Media is not only very real and very legitimate, but a wonderful publisher to work for. Just wonderful. I communicate with Jay still regularly, about pretty much every week. And he has gone to bat for this book. This is jumping ahead a little, but he has gone to bat for this book. He routinely posts promo for it in Godzilla fan groups. He's a follower of my page and like all this stuff. So the fact that he reached out to me, once it sunk in that like this is an actual thing, I was just completely like, what do you even say to that? It was like a tsunami of gratitude. It was like, I don't even know how to say yes as much as I want to. Like, how do you make the word yes sound like that important? So clearly I reached back out to him and I said, this is absolutely incredible. I'm very happy to accept. Walk me through the process and let's get the ball rolling. And I ended up I submitted a formal proposal with book titles and proposed length and all this stuff. Technical stuff we'll probably talk about or skip if it's boring. We don't know. But
no, I do want to get into your writing process with this.
Oh, absolutely.
To appeal to the author YouTube side of things here.
An hour in. Sorry.
I was kind of expecting that, but yeah.
It's all good. Everybody got the backstory. Sans all the tragic
parts. We got to get the lore dump in there.
You got the lore dump. That would have been a whole Spider-Man movie right there. Like that's what that would have been. Several. So yeah, a couple of Spider-Man movies right there. So that is how it started. And I won't get too much into the minutia, but that's my publisher. That's how this happened. They have been an absolute dream to work for. Jasper Hadman and Jay over at Fonthill have been tremendous and answered all of my first published author questions for me and walked me through everything and made sure that it was great. It was just great.
I will admit, I had not heard of this publisher until you announced actually at the 2024, was it 2024 or 2025?
2025.
25.
Yes.
Last year's G-Fest that you were doing this. And I'm like, I have never heard of this publisher. What else do they do?
They are primarily So they were just acquired. They're now part of a larger publishing conglomerate called Pen and Sword Books. They operate
Which is a pretty cool name.
It's a really cool name. They operate out of the UK. It's an English book publisher, and they're primarily they do history books, a lot of World War II history, war history, British history. They also have a series of books on music and popular bands and artists. And they don't have a whole, at least up until recently, they didn't have a huge catalog of pop culture related like movie stuff, like movie books. They had a few. They had a couple of biographies of some film and television luminaries, and they had a book that I actually ended up purchasing. And this is how I knew who they were before, kind of knew who they were before I got the email. They wrote they published a book, and the gentleman's name is escaping me who wrote it. I'm so sorry, but he wrote a book for them on Thunderbirds, and I love the Jerry and Sylvia Anderson stuff. I love Super Marionation. And I got this book, and it's a great book on the history of Thunderbirds. Well, it wasn't Thunderbirds. It was Jerry and Sylvia Anderson stuff, including Thunderbirds. And I got the book, and it was like, man, this is a beautiful looking book. If my book is halfway near as good looking as this, then I'm going to be really thrilled. So that is who they are. They are absolutely wonderful to work for, and they don't have a clue how much it meant to me to get that email, even though I've told them. They like the emotional impact of somebody coming to me and saying, would you be interested in doing this, was beyond words to me. What do you even say? It's a gift. It's a blessing. It's amazing. And I will never take that for granted a day in my life. It's just been so beautiful and appreciated.
Is it The Worlds of Jerry and Sylvia Anderson?
Mm-hmm. That's the one.
The author's name is Ian Fryer.
Ian Fryer, thank you. Okay. He's done other Super Marionation projects before. And he's a historian on the topic. So that is his book. And it is a very good book. So if anybody out there is interested in Thunderbirds, Fireball XL5, Joe 90, Supercar, stuff like that. Captain Scarlet.
We shared a brain for a second, because the weird thing is I've actually seen all of Captain Scarlet, but I haven't seen all of Thunderbirds.
Thunderbirds they're all great. Captain Scarlet's fantastic. Oh, Thunderbirds is one of the best things ever created by humanity. It's so good. I love it. Huge inspiration on Neji Tsuburaya.
Yes.
Huge inspiration.
Yes. I actually have a patron who has occasionally, he hasn't brought it up in a while, but has occasionally toyed with requesting, I think, the Thunderbirds movie.
There are two.
Via Patreon.
He probably wants Thunderbirds or Go.
I think so.
Okay. Good stuff. It's a good movie. But yeah, that's the publisher. That's the publisher's story. Here you go.
All right. Oh, yeah. So you kind of gotten into, when I say, how did this book come to be and when did you start? You brought that up.
Mm-hmm.
So why write this?
Ooh. Well, that's the big one, isn't it? So that is a question I asked myself a lot when this project came up, because I said yes because I wasn't going to say no. But after doing that, I then had to ask myself that very question. Why does this book deserve to exist? It cannot just be because I'm a nerd and I want to write this book. To me, it has to be more than that. I could sit and write this book. That's fine. That's cool. That's good for me. But that's not enough. That's not why a book should exist, right? A book is nothing without a reader, right? Readers, plural. If you're on a good day, if you're lucky, you get more than a couple.
And you've been very lucky.
I have been very lucky. I have been. Don't I know it? It's surreal.
It's still selling out on Amazon as we speak.
It's sold out at Barnes & Noble. I'll cycle back to that because there's a story there. But yeah, you can't even get it on Barnes & Noble right now. People are messaging me saying, I pre-ordered it and they haven't shipped it yet. It's like, it's out of stock. So they literally ran out of stock. But anyway, that's a whole thing. So why write this book? There are so many, as well, if there's anybody on the planet who knows as well as I, it is you, sir, that there is no shortage of books on the Gosh Jira. Like there are so many. We just last year got a like a murder weapon sized book on Godzilla.
As the host of the Writing Excuses podcast would put it, a Chihuahua killer.
Apologies to all Chihuahuas listening to the show right now. We love Chihuahuas. Just don't get near Stephen Ed's new book because it's not a good time if you're a Chihuahua under that thing. No, Stephen Ed's book is a once in a generation accomplishment, right? And even going back further than that, Steve has done other books. We've had multiple things from him.
Yeah. To kind of put this into perspective for anybody who doesn't know, Steve Rifle and Ed Goticheski, is that how you say the name?
Goticheski, yes.
Goticheski. I have been confused by that name.
I'm sure
since I got into this fandom as a teenager, as like a preteen. But they have basically been for, I think, at least Rifle since about 1979 in the first issue of Fangoria magazine. They have been the premier Godzilla scholars in particular.
They've been doing this for a very long time, and they've been doing it amazingly is the thing. Like, Ed has been working in the field since the fan magazine days, the fanzine days. And he obviously he got his article on Godzilla, which is I actually pulled a quote from that, and a little tribute to Ed for the book, for my book, because I love that so much. Actually, I'll see if I can find it while I'm talking because it's cool. But these gentlemen have been doing this for a long time. And then you have, Dave Callett, who I've mentioned before, and he has the market cornered on, critical texts on the topic.
David Callett, Stuart Galbraith.
Mm-hmm. Our good friend John LeMay has written.
John LeMay, the most cited man on the podcast.
That's right. It's
because the man publishes a new book every 5 minutes.
He's a machine, and we love him. And we have just all these people names. I forgot all the names.
Jason Barr is a more recent
Jason
one.
Barr. Bill Satsui's book is very important to me.
Yes, I need to pick that one up. And I think didn't he do a second one, like a follow up to that? Yeah,
he's written 2. They're both excellent. Here it is, by the way, for the viewers. There we go. There it is. That is the quote from Ed right there, and it says, during his 25-year film career, the King of the Monsters has undergone a personality change. And I'm not going to read the whole thing, but that is Ed's quote from 25 Years with Godzilla, 1979, Fangoria #1. Yeah. And we'll talk about this later, but I pulled quotes for each part of the book that I thought were relevant. And that was one of them because I had to get Stephen Ed in there somewhere, right? So my point is, if you're little old me and somebody gives you an opportunity to do a Godzilla book in a world where all of these other books are a thing, why do it? Why do it? So I had to really dig down deep. I couldn't just sit there and write a book rattling off fun facts. And I didn't want to do a review book because I'm not a film critic. I'm a film enjoyer. I'm a student of film appreciation, right? So, excuse me, I wouldn't be the right choice for a critical text. I'm just, like you said, I'm just going to talk about how much I love the dang thing. So I'm not a good fit. There are many other better books out there than anything I could write critically. So you have all of these amazing things. What do you do? And I thought about this. It was weird because I thought about it both long and hard, but also it was really intuitive, and I knew the answer the whole time. And it really all boils down to the fact that a lot of these books, these amazing, I own all of these books. I love them all so much. As well, you've got
and basically all of them are in your bibliography. Which made the grad student in me happy.
Yeah, it's like a big honking bibliography. There's a lot of stuff. But a lot of these books are talking about like the behind the scenes stories. They're talking about the resin coated leather gloves and the octopus that gets eaten and the like stuff like that. They're talking about how the movies were made, right? Which is fascinating. They're talking about how a lot of these books are how books. I decided that I wanted to write a why book. And that really, once I had that mindset, that was what opened the whole thing up for me. And the book kind of wrote itself at that point. There's a lot of how in the book because you have to go there. You have to talk about the resin coated leather gloves and you have to talk about a lot of that stuff, the hows. But to me, one of the most fascinating things that I have gotten
You
about
have the
Godzilla.
approval of DiManna.
Oh, there we go. Thank you. Thank you very, very much. I was very motivated when that popped into my head to give that a try.
Okay. I have to bring this up. You've
Okay.
probably heard me talk about Edwin, one of my biggest fans, if not my biggest fan right now. And I've introduced him to a lot of cool people, yourself included. But he just left this little comment here. Now Nathan, has to make the bonus episodes to cite Danny as much as John.
Oh goodness, I don't know if I can catch up to John's awesomeness on that front. But,
Well, here's the thing. I was thinking about this today. The first time I could actually use your book as a source because I've done everything up to Godzilla 1985.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, correction. I've done everything up to Godzilla versus Biollante because I had you and Kim on for a special episode of Biollante where we skipped ahead.
That's right.
To promote another project you were doing, which means I have to wait until Godzilla versus King Ghidorah.
Mm-hmm.
Guess who's coming on for that episode?
I think that's me. That would be me.
It's going to be a whole panel. Apparently, there are several people who feel the need to talk about that movie. So the first time I could cite the book, I don't need to. I'll just put Danny's brain.
Oh my God. Danny's brain, the book.
That's what this is. That could have been an alternate title. Danny's brain, the book.
It could have been, but everybody would have picked it up and been like, who the heck's Danny and why should we care? Like, nobody would have known. That's why you got to put Godzilla on the cover because people care about this guy. They care about him. So yes, I chose to go the why route because one of the things that has really motivated my continual learning about Godzilla, and I learn something new all the time. I love learning new things about this stuff. It's just so motivational for me. I love digging deeper and just learning about the genre in any way that I can. But in addition to the how of it, how many strings were attached to King Ghidorah's necks to make him do that? And make it look so good. What do you mean Keizo Murase used clear vinyl tubing for Varan's horns? That's crazy cool. That kind of stuff is how, right? And it's fascinating and amazing. But a why approach to me is just as fascinating and just as important in different ways. Because I like to say this, and I probably said it before. So if I'm repeating myself, you can just ignore me for the next 5 seconds. But I think most things in a Godzilla film that we watched as kids that we were like, whoa, what just happened? That was weird. Or you don't quite understand it. And I'm not talking about filmmaking choices necessarily. I'm talking about odd choices, weird things, weird lines of dialogue, weird anachronous, objects in the background or events or incidents that happen or lines of dialogue, things like that. If it's ever confused you, there's probably a cultural reason behind why it was said or done that we over here, I'm speaking as a person in the West, that I don't have context for because it was not the culture that I grew up in. And so that's a why. Okay, why is that character talking in that way? Why is banana oil, Kim? Why is banana oil? Why is banana oil? And you know what? There's a reason for that is cultural. There is. It's weird and backwards.
It's not Japanese, but
it's not Japanese, but
it sort of is because of the Japanese word they had to cover up.
It's Japanese phonetics. Yeah. They chose banana oil because it matched with the phonetic lip movement of bakayero. Yeah. So that's why it has the B sound. It almost has the syllables down, and they had to do that because of the Japanese language. Bam, there's your context. A lot of the Godzilla films are not broken down in terms of the context for why things are the way they are. Even the visual effects and the directing style, why did Honda shoot it like that? Well, it was a documentarian. Okay, let's fall down a rabbit hole of Japanese documentaries from the 40s and 50s. Let's learn about that. And it just spirals into insanity. And it's a bottomless pit. I could have written 10 of these things, right? The fact that I was able
book
to plan,
series.
you know what? I'm down. I'll do more. Do part 2. There's so much, and I know we're probably going to talk a little bit about cut things, but I did have to cut a lot ultimately. But why was the key? Why was the key? I wanted to write a why book because there have been so many good how books. Because why also is very resonant, I tend to find. I wanted to write a book that helped to contextualize this stuff and explore it in a way that was more about the why in addition to the how, which is why the book is an exploration. But I also wanted to do it from my I love this stuff perspective of film appreciation, which is why it's an exploration and a celebration.
Right.
So it is both of those things.
Right. That is actually, since I'm about, we'll say 75% through this book.
Yes.
And that has been one of the things that I have appreciated about it. There is a lot of how in it. But when you first told me that this was going to be a why book, and I do think there is precious little of that in the, shall we say, the kaiju academia, if that is in fact a thing. A lot of it is based in the how, or doing interpretation or something like that, and context will be brought up, but it's to fulfill some sort of interpretation, whatever is being put forward. And even going all the way back to my previous podcast life, I have been very interested personally. And I think this is why you and I got along as well as we did, when I first reached out to you. We're both interested in the why. We want to know what the cultural context was that made this happen. And like you, once I learned more about these movies, suddenly things not only made more sense, but even we'll say the cheesier ones, I suddenly had a greater appreciation for. And I'm like, there's more going on here than people want to give it credit for.
That's it. That's the key to the whole thing right there. Is you can take, I won't get too deep into this, but the two films that pop into my head right now are the obvious one for everybody and the obvious one for you and I, which are All Monsters Attack and Gigan.
Yes.
We're not going to get into it here, but if Gigan is a film that literally lives or dies on understanding its context and its metatextual context as well.
Yeah.
And that was a chapter that that's one of the first chapters I wrote.
We spent 4 hours talking about it.
We spent a lot of, it's out there for people, so we're not going to retread. And then you have like All Monsters Attack, Godzilla's Revenge, which is an infamously misunderstood and unjustly maligned film. I totally understand why it's not certain people's jam, but if you're going to dislike it, dislike it for the right reasons, dislike it because it's just not your kind of film. But don't speak in ignorance as to what you think it was trying to do and failing, when I would argue that what it was trying to do was very altruistic and it succeeded in doing so, even if it's not a film for everybody. And I made sure to put that in the book as well. It's not a particularly critical book. I'm really treating all of these films in the same way that the GNP has over the years. My philosophy is that when you lay it all out in front of me, all these films deserve to be treated with equal attention. Whether it's somebody's favorite or somebody's least favorite, every one of these movies is somebody's favorite and least favorite. Every one of them. So why
even City on the Edge of Battle, Elijah?
Even City on the Edge of Battle. Somebody out there, that is their favorite Godzilla film. It's true. And somebody out there can't stand the 54 film. I guarantee it. Like that person exists, and there's so much out there. So I treat it all equally. All Godzilla films are created equal in this book, and I give them all the attention that the other ones get. And that was my philosophy going into this.
Well, look at you. You're about to be cited in, I believe, an academic paper.
Whoa, my goodness. Look
I
at
haven't gotten
this.
my copy yet. This is D-Man.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm working on a rhetorical analysis, so I'm assuming that's a college paper and not a video of Terror of Mechagodzilla. I would love to add it to my list of sources for that discussion.
That would really mean a
Wow.
lot to me. That would be wonderful. I'd love to learn more about
Oh,
your
wait.
project.
Nope.
Video?
It is, in fact, a
It
video.
is a video.
It's a
A
video,
video
essay.
essay.
Okay.
Oh, I can't wait to see that. That's going to be good.
I'm sorry, D-Man. I've worked in academia, so when I hear rhetorical analysis, I think it's a paper.
Best of luck on working on that. I cannot wait to see that. That would be really, really pretty stinking cool to be cited in that. Thank you. Thank you. My goodness. Oh, we have a follow-up. We have more.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but I'm taking it more seriously than my standard video styles. Graduated a few years ago, so my days of college papers are over. Oh, he has escaped it.
Yes, he got out. He got out while he could. Man, congratulations on that. I know it's a couple years late, but congratulations. It's a lot of hard work. Cannot wait to see that. And then Kim has not a video. She has a comment.
Yeah. I wasn't going to bring it up because I wanted you to finish talking. I admittedly haven't gotten too far into the book yet, been busy and sleep deprived, but I'm already enjoying it and learning so much from it.
Oh, Kim, that really means a lot. Thank you. That was another thing I really wanted to be part of the book. And I think we'll cycle back to this later, but I wanted to put things in there that I just hadn't seen anywhere else. Big time. That felt like a necessity. And so all of these things I had to add, like this is all going around in my head while I'm trying to justify this book's existence to myself. Like, how am I supposed to do this? How am I supposed to write something that stands out? I'm a marketer by, like my day job is I'm a marketer. And one thing that I do every single day at this job is I have to have a client who comes to me and says, "Hi, I'm a bank. Make me sound like the best bank you could ever leave your money in. And there are 18 quintillion flipping banks on the planet. What makes you stand out? What is the thing that's going to make me care?" We have a saying where I work, and it's like it sounds kind of callous when you say it, but it's simply, who cares? And if you can answer that question and then answer the question of why you should care, then if you write your copyright, people will be lining up in front of that bank. And if you can do it simply and sincerely, if you can be honest, and if you can deliver value to somebody, they will choose your bank. And I really wanted to find something that would deliver value to a reader. If somebody is going to be amazing and bring this book into their home with their hard-earned money, I wanted them to get something out of it that would be unique and memorable, and maybe give them a smile and teach them something they didn't know. And that's what this is in a nutshell.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I will admit there have been a few small things throughout the book where like, oh, didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was my plan. That was my plan. It's like if I can put some stuff in here that I just haven't heard talked about anywhere. And I think that's something we'll talk about later on. So I won't divert too much, but
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I at some point, you're going to have to help me out here, Danny. Elijah has sent me a little video and I'm trying to decide when to show it.
A little video.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is the video of you at G-Fest announcing the book.
Oh, that's right. Okay. So a little bit of insight.
Should I play it now or wait till a little later? Because it's about 3.5 minutes.
Let's hang on to it. Let's hang on to it for a bit. But we should play. Elijah, that's really sweet of you, dude. So this is true story. Last year, he was made aware that an announcement was going to happen, and he had somewhere else he had to run off to because, like me and you, we're often very busy at G-Fest. And he set up,
man.
Yeah, he set up his professional camera rig, Mr. Filmmaker Elijah, and he sat in the front row of the writers panel last year's G-Fest, and he got footage of me announcing the book for the first time publicly, and then wrapped up, shook my hand, took off, and did the rest of his day, and it was the nicest dang thing. And the fact that moment exists now on film is really special. So we'll definitely cycle back to that one. Yeah.
But But this is something that I'm curious, as your friend, as a reader, and as a fellow writer, I have to know, what was the writing process that you did for this? You've mentioned a few stories here and there about what you had to do in terms of time management, but I really want to know more, because I will confess, inspired by your recent success in particular, but I've been reading a lot of the same people that you're citing in this book, Cal and all the rest of them. And occasionally you and I have toyed with trying to do something like this. And now you actually went and did it. So I'm interested in doing something similar to this in some form or another. So I have to know how you went about doing this.
Panic, mostly. Deep panic. So, okay, I'm going to try to find the most eloquent way to describe this. So, writing process wise, specifically, I tend to be kind of all over the place a little bit, but in a hopefully constructive way. Ugh, knocked my camera. In a constructive way when I write. Anybody who's followed the Godzilla Novelization Project for a while knows that if a particular film speaks to me in that moment, or the next part of that film speaks to me, I'll write for that one, and then I'll jump over to another one. And I find that keeps my creative juices flowing in kind of an interesting way. So for G Cinema, whenever I felt the strongest and like focus on a specific movie, like I had something to say, I knew what I wanted to say and how to say it, I would sit and I would write that. And oh my gosh, I wrote everywhere and on everything I possibly could. I lived, I ate, and I breathed this book for quite a while, including a very intense few months at the end of 2024, when a lot of the work was done to get it ready to send into the publisher by the end of the year. And there was a lot going on there. That's a whole story I'll cycle back to when we talk about, I think there's a question about stress. So I'll mention it there, but my time was absolutely just screwed up the end of that year.
Did you have to write an outline?
I did not write an outline.
Okay.
I did not write an outline. The book, when I said earlier that the book kind of wrote itself, I kind of mean it, because I sat down and the book fell out of my fingers, just out of my brain, out through my fingers. And a lot of the book, not all of it, good Lord, no, but a decent chunk of what you're reading is take one.
Wow.
Yeah. It's like the book was waiting. It's like my 6-year-old self was inside waiting to get it out of my system. And I ended up.
You were a very articulate 6-year-old.
I was not, but he's a little taller now. He's a little taller now, and he writes a little faster. But he was in there, and he was motivating me to do this for him, for me now, and for anybody who wanted to buy the book, right? So I sat down and I just let the book come out of my fingers. And then I actually had to go back, like I said before, a lot of that stuff that like the fun facts and the behind the scenes stuff and the cultural stuff is stuff that's just been rattling around in my head for goodness knows how long. And I had to go back and verify all of it and make sure that I was properly cited and all that good stuff. But I think, I almost hate to admit this, but like I did less research for this book than it probably looks like I did. I know I did a lot. And then I went back and verified. Yeah. I've researched, don't get me wrong. I researched the heck out of it, but
that would explain the lack of citations.
Well, the lack of citations was actually I'll answer this for you right now, because I know we were talking about citations and footnotes and stuff like that. A lot of that came down to honestly just time. It's just time. Something had to go. There were originally going to be appendices. There were going to be, I was going to try to get an interview with at least one or two people and stick it in the back of the book. There was a lot more that I wanted to do. And by the time I got down to crunch time, I had to pick and choose what was going to go in there. And so I figured that my writing was descriptive enough for some of the more esoteric things that footnotes probably weren't needed. Next book, probably going to be footnotes. because I didn't want to get too bogged down, but I feel like I explained things well enough. I would have loved to have done individual citations for things, but again,
Yeah.
it was so much. So I made sure that the information, like if it was a direct quote, obviously I said who said it, and everything is in the bibliography. And so it is all there. It is all there. I did not skimp out on that, but something had to go at the end, and it ended up being the citations. And not great, but something had to go.
Yeah, I just wasn't expecting that, because basically all of the academic books that I have in my research library for the podcast has citations. And I'm like, Daddy, where are the citations?
Where are the citations?
Where did you find all this? I must know.
It's all there. It's all in the bibliography. I just didn't get a chance to throw little numbers after all of it. And I wish I had. And the next one, I'm hoping I'll be able to do that. But that was legitimately just time crunch. That's all it was. That, I know that don't make me look good, but it's the truth. When I tell you what I was doing those last few months, it might it's not an excuse, but it might contextualize a little bit. But I did make sure that everything in there, even though my trade-off for not including the individual citation numbers was to triple, quadruple, octuple vet every electron of that book. Everything in there had to be run through multiple things. I had a lot of stuff in there that I was 99% was convinced was real, but since I couldn't get 100% verification from the best sources I could, I pulled it out of the book. Couldn't keep it. So there's a lot that got cut. The book, as of right now, stands at about 97,000 words. And as originally written, it was about 115,000 words. And I cut a lot out. And a lot of the stuff that I cut out was stuff that I just didn't feel 100% saying was like, this actually happened, because 9 people out of 10 said it did, and the 10th guy left town. Like, if the 10th guy left town, it's not going in the book. You got to be careful with that stuff. And goodness knows there's enough misinformation out there about Godzilla stuff that still permeates conversations in the community.
There is one ending in King Kong versus Godzilla.
Ending. Kenpachiro Satsuma did not have his appendix removed in a Hedorah costume. And that one's that's well known enough that I didn't feel the need to put it in there. But there are other misconceptions that I did address in the book. And
yeah, there were a few that amused me. Like, Tanaka hated Yoshimitsu Banno after Godzilla versus Hedorah. Not exactly. The movie ended up. I was gonna say, it was more like, well, that was weird. Let's not do that again.
You didn't hate the guy. Like, that's nonsense. One thing is, here's the other thing, and we can readdress this, but there are multiple things that I did learn for the book that I researched and I discovered, and I was like, oh, that's cool. That's got to go in there. And one of them was for the longest time I bought it, I believed that Godzilla 1985 specifically was made with very intentionally, almost propagandistically anti-Soviet sentiment. And it never occurred to me that it was all part of the joke, but it was confirmed years later. It's not.
That resonated with me, because this episode hasn't been released yet. It's been recorded.
Mm-hmm.
But I learned that myself while doing the research. I'm like, wait, what? What? This wasn't done because America. And Ronald Reagan. No, it was like, no, we just thought it was funny.
It was literally just a joke.
The joke was completely lost on me, so maybe it's not funny.
It was lost on me for years. I used to kind of grit my teeth through certain parts of that film, where it was like, you took this whole thing and recontextualized it to make it political, and it wasn't. That was an assumption that I had for years, and it's an easy assumption to make based on the context of the film, because it's not a very funny edit. It wasn't supposed to be. Originally it was, but the final edit is not like that humorous. So I could be forgiven, but this is why you always do the research. Even if you think you know something, look at it a second time. And I guarantee that there are people who are going to read that passage in G Cinema, and they're going to say, That no way, really? It was a joke? Like the making the Russian guy the villain was supposed to be like a gag on the Cold War? It was just poking fun at it, and it wasn't supposed to be propagandistic? Yeah, that's the truth. And I didn't know that. And I literally within the last 2 years learned that, and it blew my mind. And I had to go in the book, had to clear it up somehow.
Yeah,
So
which I really do appreciate. It's to the point now where I do feel like with some of my past podcast episodes, I almost feel like I have to issue retractions. I may have to do like a retractions episode where I'm like, so more research has come out. What I said before.
Yeah. You know what's crazy? This stuff is evolving all the time. It's like the equivalent of, T-Rexes walking like kangaroos, and then they had feathers, and then they don't have feathers, and they have feathers again. Like, this kind of stuff is constantly evolving as our context gets better, and we're able to talk to more people and translate things and go to primary sources. A lot of primary sources they're not alive anymore. So you got to be careful, but it's an ever evolving thing. And, maybe there's something in here that everybody thinks is real, but in 10 or 15 years, it'll be an accepted fact that was just a rumor and we didn't know. You never know. So to the best of my gosh darn ability, this book is as vetted as possible, and I tried to make it as airtight as I possibly could in terms of the facts, because when you're writing a fact book, you're writing a history book, you can't do anything less. And I wouldn't do anything less based purely out of my respect for the topic at hand, alone. But clearly, if you're going to be a historian, you can't just wing it. That's just not how it works.
Yeah. So you mentioned kind of along those lines. So you were writing this, you didn't do an outline. You were just picking and choosing which ones you wanted to do. That's a very Danny move right there.
Yes, it is.
I have to say. But, you mentioned that you had to cut out about, 20,000 words or so?
Something like that.
Yeah, about 20,000 words. So what kind of stuff did you have to cut? And what was the hardest piece to cut?
Good Lord. Some of it was pretty simple. The first thing that I targeted, because I wrote the whole thing as one big, giant, disgusting manuscript of just bad, that first pass is always, you know what I mean? Like, you don't write anything flawless. I'm actually kind of blown away by how much of pass number 1 is still in there in some fashion, because it just flew out of my system. But clearly you go through it as many times as you need to polish it up. And the first thing on the chopping block was what I liked to call the "yeah, but everybody knows this" file, right? I had a section in there on Subaraya eating the octopus, and I took it out because everybody knows that. I had sections on, maybe a couple of other well-trodden things that people absolutely know. Everybody knows about the octopus. Everybody knows about fill in the blank. And so those were kind of the first things that I chopped out, because that's been talked about forever and ever and ever. Everybody knows about the octopus. And then after that,
this should be a t-shirt. Everybody knows about the octopus.
Everybody knows. Hey, Toho, Godzilla store, the people who make the finest giant condor apparel on the internet.
I was going to say, you know what, Toho? You made the meme real with the giant condor. Why stop there? Do the frickin' octopus do Udaku. Is that right? That's the thing's official name, right?
Udako.
Do Udako from King Kong versus Godzilla, you cowards.
I want them to make a t-shirt with the lizard that the funny guy throws into Yu Fujiki throws into the ravine. It's only a lizard. Throw it. Like that lizard.
And then after that, Skeleturtle.
You know what? No, Skeleturtle's my man. He's got to go up to the front. I'm sorry, lizard guy. Skeleturtle's the winner. That's got to happen.
Yeah, Udako, Skeleturtle, lizard.
Yeah, that's the order. That's my tier list right there. You're welcome. Maybe they'll do it this year for Kim's onto something here.
Udako versus Giant Condor.
I would watch that episode of Gojiban. Thank you very much. That would happen. Oh goodness, I'm trying to think what the hardest thing to cut out was, because cutting out some of the more well-known fun facts was pretty simple. There was a little bit of extra history stuff in chapter 1 that I trimmed out because it was interesting but not relevant. I tried to make sure that all of the historical touch points in that chapter, which, as you mentioned before, covers a lot of ground. It covers ancient times up through the beginning of the 50s. So if it wasn't completely relevant, I had to make it go. Shockerus, please. Dead.
All right. Okay. Udako, Skeleturtle.
Oh my god.
Shockerus, Lizard.
Okay.
That is the order.
Remember that. Remember that list. Maybe like tattoo it on your forearm or something so you don't forget. And then we'll take it to Toho so they can laugh at the foreigners being idiots. Like,
Danny, we all know if they made a life-size replica of the Shockerus,
I'll take 3,
you
please.
would buy it.
Yes.
And then you would do a photo op with it.
With it killing me, yeah.
No. With it killing you.
I'll make
We all know you would do this.
This is true. Yes.
Because, as you say, and it is in print, you can't take this back. Print is forever, sir.
Yeah.
And I quote, film historian, artist, voice actor, and professional goober.
Professional goober. And I think that buying a giant Shockers falls under the goober section of that description. Udako.
Yes. Udako, Skeleturtle, Shockerus, giant monsters all out attack.
Giant C tier, all out attack. I love it. That's cool.
There's my next MIFV audio drama right there.
There it is.
Udako, Skeleturtle, Shockerus, giant monsters all out attack. Danny, we're writing that script.
All right, I'll add it to the list. It's a big list. My goodness. Thank you, Jane.
Yeah, I place your bets now on who's winning that. Giant Condor is not here, so you can't pick Giant Condor.
No, I'm going with the tentacles, man. I'm going with the octopus because it's much bigger.
It'd be Shockerus if they didn't start making merchandise of Skeleturtle.
Yeah.
Udako, if Toho could handle the amount of pre-orders,
that's fair because people would absolutely break Godzilla.org. Godzilla.
I'm gonna be honest. I will probably break down like everybody else. I will bend the knee to the meme and I will buy that freaking giant condor figure.
My goodness.
If I don't get it off the website, I'm gonna get it at G Fest.
I'll get it at G. It'll be $60. I'll get it at G Fest. It's fine.
Godzilla.gov.
Godzilla.gov.
Yes, the governments of the world need to tell us what their Godzilla plans are. I need to know.
The people demand answers. Come on.
Okay, Japan has Godzilla plans, but we all know, especially because of the MonsterVerse, that Godzilla's not going to just stop in Japan anymore. No, he's going to go other places. So everybody needs a Godzilla plan.
This is true. This is very, very true. What are we talking about? Things I cut out.
Yeah.
Things I cut out. That's what it was. There was a section I had to remove from the Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah chapter. Well, it was because that chapter, you haven't gotten there yet, but basically...
No, I've read that one.
Oh, you did read that one.
I'm halfway. I am in the middle of the Destroya chapter.
That's right. Okay. So that was a long chapter because it covers multiple films. I didn't have the benefit of giving each movie its own chapter. Wish I had. Didn't have that kind of page real estate. So that was a thing from the publisher.
Danny, we all know you would write a whole book about every single one of these movies.
I would do it. I would absolutely do it. I don't know if they'd be good, but I'd like to try. So, excuse me. Goodness, I'm coughing and talking at the same time. I had to cut out an analysis section where I talked about King Ghidorah as, oh my gosh, what was it? It had something to do with something about post-war. It was like drawing an analogy to like post-war. I don't know what it was. I don't remember the specifics of it, but I really liked it. There was a section I did that was similar on Batra, where I was doing a little analysis of like Batra's place in that specific film and how it related to, the Earth and stuff going on in Japan at the time. I had to cut that out. That was a lot. That chapter got a lot of cuts. Oh gosh, I feel like I cut something out of Shin that I didn't want to cut too, but I'm gonna go with that King
There's a
Ghidorah section.
lot that can be said about Shin.
Shin, I really had to rein myself in with Shin because I could have gone. That could have its own book, right? Like I could absolutely.
Easily.
I'd love to write just a Shin book. My goodness. But I'll pick that. I'll pick King Ghidorah as the one that hurt me the most because I was really looking forward to talking some of the symbolism up in that film, and I had to cut it out. And it's like, gosh darn it. I'm sorry, 9-year-old me.
Actually, Elijah, I think we kind of covered this question already.
Oh, we did. I would say we kind of, well.
Yeah, for those who are listening, Elijah said, in a world where you could argue that G books are oversaturated, why should somebody pick this book over others? And earlier I did ask Danny, why write this? And I think that covered it.
So
I kind of covered it at the very least.
I'll add something. I'll add something to that while we're talking about it, because and this is kind of weird. This is going to be kind of weird, but I hope bear with me while I try to answer this here, because there's a point to this. Why should anybody buy this book? Keyword should. There is no answer to that, because you shouldn't. I'm not saying you shouldn't buy the book, but there's no reason why you should. Like I wrote a book. I'm trying to find the best way to explain this. I wrote a book that I really hope resonates with people, and I didn't write it so that it was like, what's the word? How am I trying to say this? Gosh, this is kind of a struggle, but I have a philosophy on this where I would never tell somebody that they should buy this book. You know what I mean? That's just not how I tend to do things, not how I tend to market these things. I would say that reasons that you might get something out of it are things that we've covered. It's a why book. That's all the stuff that we talked about before. It's a book that talks about things that it has fun facts in it that you might not get anywhere else. It has production history you might not get anywhere else. It has a big bullet pointed list of reasons why it would be nice to have it in your home and why it would be really, really cool to have it in your home. But I will never look at somebody and say, oh, look at that. Oh, Kim, that's so nice. Thank you.
Again, for those who are listening, Kim just said in the chat, the answer for why someone should buy this book is because Danny. That is all.
Kim, you are the sweetest. And to me, that really does, like, that right there, that speaks volumes about why, like, what would mean something to me. Like, that it would mean a lot to me if people had this book in their home. And that's Kim's answer. I think everybody will have their own reason for adding it, but it's not my place to tell you should have it. I think that's what I'm trying to say. Should you have it? That's up to you. But I will never tell anybody that this is a must-own book that they have to have in their home. I can tell you why I think you'd like it, why it might resonate with you. But like, if you go back, this is part of my marketing philosophy, I guess. If you go back through, like, since I announced that this book was a thing, it's been almost a year. It's crazy. Never.
Do we play the video
later? We'll play the video later. But you will not find a social media post from me anywhere that says go buy this book. This is a must-have that you simply cannot miss, and you should have it. Here's the link. Go buy it. You won't find me saying that. All I have done is I have said this exists. This is where you can find it. This is what you'll find inside. And if you choose to bring it home with you, I hope that you enjoy it. And I hope that it means something to you. And that is all I will ever say. I'm never going to look at somebody and say, you need to get this. You need to buy this. This is a must-have thing. All I'm doing is I'm opening a door. And I think that people respond to that better. It's kind of the like, share, subscribe thing, where if somebody tells me to like, share, and subscribe, I'm not like, I'm at a point now where I'm just not going to do it. If somebody is begging, for me to like, share, and subscribe, I'm just, it's irritating to me, right?
Danny.
What?
That is a little ironic.
Is it? How so?
I have Zillafoot on my shelf.
Mm-hmm. Did I tell you to buy it?
No, because you said that.
Well, I did it because I was parodying it.
I know. I just giving you a hard time.
I know you are.
I just feel the need to remind people that you were in a kaiju masterpiece.
I wasn't a
masterpiece of kaiju cinema.
That I play a character on screen in the greatest film ever, Zillafoot. It's a really good movie. No, I'm in it. I'm playing a character in that film that's it's weird to say that. I'm playing a character in a film, but it's been a few years. I need to accept it. I did. It's a thing I did.
Hey,
I love that I did it.
Our friend Elijah was also in it, and I have already given him a pitch for Zillafoot 2 that is basically a buddy, like a kaiju, like a buddy cop film with your two characters.
That's funny. I don't know if anybody wants to see me in the sequel. Oh my god!
I have also officially named his character. What is it? I think I said Luke Skywatcher.
Oh, lawsuit! Lawsuits! You don't want the mouse coming after you, Chuckles. See, we got another name.
Oh, we got one. Uh-huh.
That's another one.
Scratch that off your bingo card.
That's yes. Everybody, grab your bingo card, and you can draw on it. You can put a little chip on it, so you can reuse it. You know, there's a lot of bingo options. Chuckles. So, to wrap up and kind of answer Elijah's question, I'm never going to be a like, share, subscribe. You should buy this. So, why should somebody buy it? I'm never going to tell somebody like that they should buy it. All I can do is like I can show you the open door, and if from that point you choose to spend your hard-earned money to put this on your shelf, just know that means the absolute world to me. That is what you have done is a tremendous gift to me. Don't do it for me. Do it because you want to learn something and put it on your shelf. And if anybody out there purchases this and they get something out of it, it makes them happy. It inspires them to go watch the films. Maybe they're just getting into this stuff and they're learning about it. I know people who know nothing about these films that have bought this book. And they're interested in learning because the fact that it's in book form is like oddly legitimizing for the topic, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? It's strange. So I think the reason why people should buy it is going to be up to each person. For whatever reason they want to have it, I'm just happy that they have it and that they gave it a chance and that they added it to their shelf. And all I will continue to do is what I've been continuing to do, which is to say, I got the amazing opportunity to write a book, and it means the world to me anytime somebody out there brings it home. And I hope that you love it or like it or get something out of it. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for supporting it. And that is all that's what I'm going to say. That's my philosophy. I won't tell anybody to go get it, but people know where to get it. And if they want to get it, they'll get it. And that's kind of it. And if you take that and combine it with some of the actual, reasons why it's a unique book that we already talked about, I think that's kind of the answer I'll stick with. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a weird answer. A little bit, but it's very Danny. But I feel like I have done a disservice. I should have mentioned this a little bit sooner, but Elijah did make a contribution to this book. He wrote the foreword for it.
He wrote the foreword. So there were a couple of people on my list that I was going to attempt to get a foreword produced for. I was going to reach out to a couple of different people. And ultimately, I did, says Elijah. That's funny.
Elijah doesn't remember a lot of things that we talk about or do. So
that actually,
I think he has actually forgotten about entire recording sessions. So when he looks at his podcast episodes, he's like, "Oh, I did talk about that."
So I'm holding this up for the screen right now. This is the foreword that Elijah wrote me. And it was something that he did unprompted for me because he knew that I was writing this book and that I was down to the wire. And I was like, I got to get somebody to write this forward for me. And I'm a little worried about the timeline on this thing. And he wrote this for me and sent it to me. And I wiping tears out of my eyes because it was like the nicest darn thing. And That's the Cliff Notes version of how that happened. But he wrote something so lovely for me that I could not put it into the book as the foreword. So it became the foreword. It was just a tremendous vote of confidence. And the fact that this book has his support and that he had so many nice things to say was just genuinely like, what do you even say to that? Like, somebody liked my book and wrote words about how they liked the book. That's huge right there. And again, going back to the should you like and subscribe thing, like that was unprompted. I didn't ask for the nice things that people have said have come unprompted. The purchases that have come have not been because I've said, stop what you're doing and go spend money. Like this book is being purchased unprompted. People are buying the book. And that to me is huge. It's so huge. Sent it to you on lunch break.
Elijah says, yeah, I sent it to you on a lunch break. I had to work as I was finishing it.
That's right.
That is one of the that is an extremely Elijah thing.
It is. Aside from Elijah, because I know you wanted to bring this up, this was a one-man show. The only contribution I got to this thing outside of Elijah was no one. It was just me. It was just me plugging away. And in terms of outside like collaboration and assistance, obviously I had Elijah who was helping me, and I had an editor, and I'll cycle back to my amazing mom, who I mentioned before, who her support of my weird alternative lifestyle with monsters has never wavered. And she was kind enough to read through the book and help me out with some preliminary editing. And that was a very long, very involved process with a lot of emails. But it was very, very helpful. So she was involved. But in terms of the actual content, I wrote it and Elijah gave me a forward, and that was it. Yes, Elijah. My mom was actually the first person to read this book. Isn't that fun? I love that. It's like I said, this is all her fault. So I could think of no one better to give it a trial run. And she, as I recall, was pretty cruel. Actually, she did not like it.
I mean, you dedicated the book to her.
Yes, I dedicated the book partially to her. It is dedicated to 4 people because I couldn't pick, and she is one of them. Yeah, because of course. And I did put the "it's all your fault" joke into the dedication.
Yeah,
so because I had to. Yes, indeed. So there you go.
Yeah. But is there anything else you want to bring up about what you had to cut, or can we move on?
We can move on.
Another question. Okay.
Move on. Yeah.
All right. So we did the bibliography and footnotes thing. So how many gray hairs did writing this give you?
All of them.
I was going to say, as in how challenging and or stressful was it writing this? Because you told me a little bit about it, and I'm like, I thought Elijah was nuts. What were you doing? Maybe it's good that I didn't know that this was going on, because I probably would have been like, Danny, I'd like to see you live to see it published.
I almost didn't. So here's the story. Here's this. So throughout 2024, I was working on this book in preparation to deliver it by end of year. Now, I had kind of a nutty year with just a lot of stuff going on. And then it was also the I almost said 50th. Wow. The 70th anniversary of Godzilla. So new stuff's happening all the time. And I'm adding things. And when I tell you I wrote everywhere and on everything, I take that to the bank, because I wrote this book like sometimes during like lunch breaks at work. I would write it at my work computer during my lunch breaks. If I would write it in bed on my phone in email drafts and email it to myself. Everybody does that.
Yeah, well, now I'm just like you said, on everything and everywhere, and I'm like, he's writing it on his palms. He's gonna write it on the back of the person in front of him in the grocery line.
Like I did tattoo some strangers for this book. I'm not ashamed. No, I might have actually doodled something on the back of my hand once. Like I might have done that. Don't quote me on that, but it sounds familiar. I wrote it on the notepads, wherever I could find notepads. I wrote it in journals. I think there might have been a napkin involved at one point. I wrote it just literally, I wrote it on my tablet in my living room. I wrote this thing here and there. I wrote this thing everywhere. And I'm actually fine with green eggs in ham before you ask. Ooh, a comment from Elijah.
I want to highlight that Danny wrote his Dead Ace essay, Dead Ace's back copy, and co-wrote and co-commentated Ninja Monsters, copy edited Outer Man. Dude, you brought this up already.
So I did all that. Well, what he's illustrating is that a lot of this was done overlapping. So this was like all that stuff that he mentioned earlier. A lot of it was done at the same time. So what ultimately happened in the year of our Lord 2024 was yes, quite. We got to bring that back. I had to get one in. It's fine.
Yeah. Off the bingo card. Anyway.
Off the bingo card. So the year is wrapping up. I'm writing stuff left and right, and then I'm basically taking all of these just disparate things. I'm taking handwritten, whole chapters handwritten. I'm transcribing them by hand, and I'm taking them out of notes, and I'm emailing things to myself, and I'm plugging it into the master Word document and all this stuff, and I'm rearranging things and writing sentences to stitch it all together. And then we start to get toward the fall, and something very unfortunate happens. So this is a little inside baseball. At my job, my marketing job, I work as, my official title is a creative consultant. It's actually going to be senior. I'm getting promoted here very soon, so I will be senior creative consultant, which makes me sound more important than I am. Yes, gotta straighten the jacket a little bit. It's not a big a deal. Just a senior creative consultant. No, it's cool. I worked very hard for that, and I'm very happy to get it.
You got to come up with like the party version of that that makes you sound really cool.
Any attempt to make me sound cool is just not going to work. Like, that's the thing.
No, you got to make the job sound cool.
Oh, the job sound cool. Okay, that's
that's what I'm talking about. It's just like I've worked as a substitute teacher, and I've come up with what I call it the party version. I think I heard a comedian was talking about this. Like, you got to come up with like the party version. Yes. Basically, it's like what you tell people at a party. It's like, oh, what do you do? And then you make something up and it sounds super cool, highfalutin. So yeah, so I've worked as a substitute teacher. So it's like, oh, I'm a chaos management specialist.
Okay, that's pretty good. As a sub, that does line up. So at my job, there at the time were there are three people with my title. It's me and there's two other people. And one of those three individuals left the company, quit. And that left two writers to do all the work of three people while we tried to find a replacement. There are too many weeds to sift through on this. It is an excruciatingly long story, but basically from the month of September to January, and then going all the way into the next year as we slowly trickled stuff to the new writer that we eventually hired, we had two writers for September, October, November, December. So for 4 months, I was writing at 150% capacity at my job. And I have, like, my job, my workload is already pretty substantial, again, in the weeds, but I write scripts and blog articles and website copy and brochures and like radio spots and all that stuff. And occasionally I do go up and do a little bit of like voicing for it too, just for testimonials and such. And there's a lot more, but that's the cliff notes. So all of that, two people, the whole company, it was just two people. And I was doing 12-hour, 14-hour days. I would get home, I would get in early, and then I'd write at this job until 11 p.m., 12 p.m., and I'd, maybe sometimes 1 a.m. I almost all-nighted it a couple times. I would do 12, 14-hour work days, and then I'd go home, and I'd write this book until about 5 or 6 a.m, sleep about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then go to work and do another 12, 14-hour shift. Well, not shift. It's not shift. It's an office job. It's a 9 to 5, but I couldn't go home because I was writing 200 scripts every 30 days. I was doing, and that's not even including all the other stuff. And then in the middle of all this, it's also Godzilla's 50th anniversary. I did it again, 70th anniversary.
Yeah.
Gosh, I'm tired. Maybe I'm still feeling it all these months later.
Apparently, you're just really itching to watch Final Wars.
I would love to watch Final Wars. I would watch Final Wars right now. I love Final Wars. So it's ridiculous because this all happens, and because I'm also operating the Godzilla Novelization Project, I had to do something for the 70th, and I had this plan for a while, and I'd done some pre-writing on it, but I knew I needed to do this. I ended up writing a new chapter for the GNP for every decade, right? So there were 7 decades, 7 novelizations got a chapter. So I wrote 7 book chapters for 7 different movies, and I did my annual October horror movie review-a-thon on Facebook. Oh yes, Final Wars watch party soonish, very soon. I'm down for that. So I did all these. I wrote 31 movie retrospectives, 7 chapters, upwards of 1,000+ scripts, and this book all at the same time. So gray hairs, I have a few, a couple there. They haven't all gone away. It probably took years off the end of my life. It probably did.
I joked with that about. I made that joke with a few people. See, I'm having the same problem you are. But anyway, this could be a turn into. The stream could crash and burn so hard right now when you got 2 people who apparently are starting to get a little tired and the caffeine's wearing off. But no, I made that joke with a few people. It's like, yay, G Cinema is out, and I'm going to die 5 years sooner because of it.
Yeah, probably. When I finally got through a lot. I didn't get through all of the situation at work was not resolved until June of the next year, fully. We got a new writer in, and he's amazing. He's amazing. He's so good at what he does. But we had to onboard this gentleman, right? So we had to teach him how to do it, and we couldn't just give him a whole person's workload. So it took a few months. But I got all the GNP chapters written, all 7 of them written and posted by November 3rd. That's off the list. All the movie things done. That 31 movie retrospectives. That's off the list. There was something else going on too. It was like a 5th thing. I don't even remember. I think I probably repressed it. I don't even remember. But it was so much.
Was that crap?
Yeah, I don't. It doesn't matter.
Was that what we were trying to do? MIFV episode 100? I can't remember.
It might have been.
No.
I was.
No, wait, no. It might have been. I was like, no, that was because for some odd reason my mind went to -1. It's like, no, that was the year before.
That was the year before.
So it might have been episode 100 because you were helping out with that because there was another riff track.
Yes, I did.
And you did another theme song.
I did another theme song.
This time I asked you because you've set a precedent.
You did not ask me for the second one.
Oh, I thought I did actually.
You did not ask me for the second. Okay. I surprised you twice.
Haha. Oh no.
Yes. Horrible gifts from people.
That might have been it because I think I want to say it was around that time. I could be misremembering though.
So I was doing something else, and it was not Erica, Elijah. Erica was earlier than that.
Yeah, it was.
It was earlier than that.
It was. I know that for sure because when I was going over the MIFE episodes, because I'm going to be doing an addendum. The next thing I record for the podcast will be an addendum to the Biolante episode me and Kim did. Because we've already done a full-length episode, and I was trying to remember when that was. That was episode 78, which would have been which was September of that year. And my -1 episode was 81. So I know it was before that.
It was. So regardless of how many things were on my plate, it was a very full plate. And it really didn't all end in terms of just all the extracurricular outside the office stuff.
Wait, I think I know what it might have been now.
Oh yeah.
I think it was when I had you do that small role in my Rito special for Scyther.
Yes, that is what it was.
That's what it was because I wanted Michael to play that character, but he wasn't able to. And then he actually suggested you, and I'm like, okay, here you go, Danny.
There you go.
So you made your Scyther debut while that was going on too.
Yeah, I did that too. Hey, D-Man's got to take off.
All right. Thanks for stopping by, D-Man. Be sure to check the VOD or listen to the audio version when it's all said and done, because we're probably going to be here for a little bit. All right.
We might be. Thank you very much, man, for tuning in. It was nice to see you.
Like I said, I'm just happy that you even know I exist. I'm just glad to see you in the chat. Thanks a lot.
D-Man's a real one. We're lucky to have him around.
Anyway.
Yeah. Gray hairs. That's the gray hair story. I finally got everything turned in right before Christmas, and it was a huge relief. This is very funny. You'll laugh. So I ended up I was plowing through a final read through and a couple of tweaks and a couple of things to get it done, and I had the manuscript ready to go. And I was actually at my office. I actually stayed late. I gotten my work done, and I was already there, and I already had the file. I figured I'm just going to finish it now. So I got all that taken care of, and I got all the files together, including the images, which we'll also talk about. And I got them all sent in, and I just kind of went numb for a second, and I stood up, and I walked out of the office. It's midnight. It's pitch black in the middle of Toledo, Ohio. And I walk out to my car. Because it's midnight. Because it's midnight. Yes, yes. And I go down to my car.
The heart of a lion.
Just kind of
and the wings of a bat.
You done?
Yeah, anyway.
Okay. So I go down to my car. I sit there for a couple seconds, and I take a nice deep breath, and I roll down my windows, and I blasted the final credit song from Final Wars, Driving Home. Had to. I'm like, bring it on, end credits from Final Wars. And I was just like, that was how I allowed myself to process that it was done. Is I'm a very musical person, so I had to be like, okay, Final Wars, that piece of music, I love it. So that is what I did, and I drove home to that, and that was it. And I took the biggest deep breath of my life, and I was like, I could do it again. That's fine. I could do this.
I'll take another 5 years off my life. It'll be fine.
I'm gonna die at 39 at this rate.
That's only in a couple of years.
Yeah, we're not that far away from that. Anyway, that's that story.
Wow,
it's a doozy.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, I knew about a lot of the stuff that was going on, but I was very concerned about you.
No, I'm sorry to scare you, man.
You said things on social media that I'm like, Danny, do we need to talk? You're worrying me. And then I try to be a good friend, and I try to get a hold of you. And you're too busy to talk. And I'm like, Danny, did somebody die?
It's like, no, I'm plugged into my family was like, well, where is he? Like, no, I was trying and failing a little bit to be communicative, because I was just like, I'm locked in on this thing. I got to get it done. This is my first book. I don't want to miss the deadline. And I got it done. Yeah, I got it done. And it was all's well that ends well.
All right. And, all right. So we've talked about the other contributors to this. I want to ask something, because this was something I was considering as I was reading this.
Yes.
Because you're talking about, like, there were things you learned while you were doing this. I picked up on a few things that I didn't know about, but I will admit it wasn't as revealing. Is that a revelatory? Revelatory is not the right word, but at least so far. Maybe the last quarter is going to blow my mind. I don't know. We'll find out. But I wanted to ask you, who is the audience for this book? That's a very important question that writers have to ask themselves when they write anything. Who is the audience?
It's pretty simple at the end of the day, and but also there are layers to it. The simple answer is, if you like Godzilla, this is for you. If Godzilla's ever spoken to you on an emotional level, and if you've ever been curious, this is the book for you. I hope you'll give it a shot. I tried to write it to be informative, but not too dense, because I wanted it to be specific for fans, but not so specific that it alienated different kinds of fans. What I really wanted to do, because to me, there are two different schools of thought on this. There are the people who know this stuff, and you got to cater to them. When you pick this book up, you knew a thing or two about Godzilla. You might have a podcast. You might have at least one that does this. So you know your stuff. So I would hope that somebody that has the kind of knowledge base that you have and other people would pick this up and get something from it and learn a couple things they didn't know and enjoy the story as you're going through it. That's the other thing about this book, is I wrote it to feel like a story being told. That was another approach that doesn't often happen with books like this, is I wanted it to feel not prosy. I didn't want it to feel novel-esque, but I wanted it to have a flow and a sense of, rising and falling action to it that kind of recontextualized the whole history of Godzilla as like a grand story that's being told. Not because I'm making it grand, but because, gosh darn it, Godzilla was grand all along, and all I did was contextualize it like that. Or at least I tried. So I really wanted it to feel like a story, and I wanted it to be a story that could appeal to people who knew stuff. Maybe it's been a while since you've watched a Godzilla film, and this will remind you that they're pretty cool movies and you should go back and watch them. And also, I think that this could be a decent starting point. I mean, I don't want to sound like big-headed about it, but I think it could be a good starting point for somebody who wants a not too dense, but still hopefully informative and easy and fun to read text gateway into learning about the franchise. So I tried to, any more than that, and it would have been veering into try to appeal to everybody, you appeal to nobody territory. And I didn't want that. I didn't want it to be dry. I didn't want it to be too clinical. I didn't want it to be, I guess, I didn't want it to feel like it was excluding people who might be new to the genre and to the franchise. But I also didn't want it to be too simple-minded. And I don't mean that in a like I'm dumbing it down kind of way, but just like I know this stuff kind of way. I didn't want it to come across as that to people who do know a lot about this stuff. I wanted it to say something new, and I wanted it to say the old stuff in a different way a little bit. So I think at the end of the day, I really tried to make this something that anybody who has a passing interest in Godzilla, or a deep love for Godzilla, or they're just finding it, or they've been there for 70 years. They were a kid and saw the film in the 50s. I'd like to think that anybody in that general I love Godzilla bracket could pick this up and get something out of it. At least that's my hope.
Right. The reason I ask that is when I look at my library of research books, and I'm sure you do the same thing. Your entire library is listed in the back, but and I look at it, I'm like, okay, this book was written for lack of a better term, for your beginner fan, someone who's just getting into this. And then there are books that are definitely written for the hardcore.
Yes.
The exceedingly hardcore at points. And then there are some that are written more academically than others. I don't think I've really run into any that were academically dry necessarily. I have occasionally come across a few essays that were mildly infuriating, but
this is true.
Yeah.
You've mentioned those.
Yeah, we've mentioned those. But that's why I wanted to know, because as I have been going through it, I would probably, if I had to compare it to anything, and one of them is somebody actually both of these are people that we've mentioned, but one I would say, whether you probably knew it or not, was an influence on your writing of this. I would say that this is kind of a combination of Jason Barr and David Callett. Where it's a
very flattering thing to say, sir.
Yeah, well, yes. Where it's academic, it's well researched, but not overly detailed to the point that it becomes overwhelming.
That was my goal. I'm really happy to hear you say that, and thank you, because I didn't want it to be dense to the point of being inaccessible.
Yeah.
Because even for somebody like us who eats this stuff up like Tic Tacs, if you don't present it to us in a palatable way, then it does kind of feel like eating the most like dry, stale bread you've ever had in your life.
Right.
It might give you a little bit of nourishment. It might fill your stomach, but the actual chewing and eating process is pretty horrible.
Yeah.
I didn't want to make a dry unbuttered toast thing. I wanted it to feel like, I don't know. We're going to stick with food analogies. I wanted it to seem like a meal that was, delicious to eat and was maybe a little bit more filling than you thought it would be by the time you finished it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Because honestly, the only chapter that I felt like walked the line of being kind of dense was that first one, but that's because you decided to put 1,500 years of
that one
history into it.
That chapter was a calculated risk on my part because it's the longest chapter. It is a long chapter and it covers a lot of ground, but I really felt that it was important to do that because, again, we're talking about things that no other Godzilla books have done, at least that I've seen, and I've got pretty much all of them. I didn't want to just start in the 50s. Everybody starts in the 50s, and even starting in the 40s with the atomic bombings. That
maybe the 30s if they bring up Kong.
Maybe, yeah. But like that to me is missing the majority of the context. This is a why book, right? If you want to talk about why is Godzilla, you can't just say H-bombs and King Kong. You can't say Hiroshima, Nagasaki, and King Kong. You can't do it. You have to go further back. So that first chapter talks about the formation of, and I feel like I tried to make it as breezy as I could. It talks about, the beginnings of Japanese culture and why their art is the way it is, why they like everything that's in there is relevant to Godzilla in some way. And you might have to go back and read it again, but I tried to make sure everything that was in there touched on tokusatsu as an art form. The fact that Japan is small, and so a lot of their art was small, miniature, bonsai trees, Netsuke figurines, things like that. We talked about I mentioned no theater and kabuki and how it creates a heightened sense of reality that's not supposed to be capturing the real world. It's supposed to be creating a reality that's artistic and evocative, and you can see the strings and the fingerprints, and that's part of the culture. And that's all part of Godzilla. And then I go over to America and I talk about T-Rex for a page and a half. And that was important too, because that little fun fact about the fact that T-Rex was almost reconstructed Jurassic Park style, but in the 1900s, the early 1900s, but wasn't. And they went with the kangaroo thing instead, the Godzilla stance. That blew my mind. If history had veered off in that direction, Godzilla would not look the way he does. And I thought that was so cool. And I had to talk about Winsor McKay. Willis O'Brien, everybody, you got to do that. But nobody talks about Winsor McKay. The man made what might be the first proto-kaiju film, And there's so much interesting stuff there. And then I wanted to talk about, Japanese monster movies before Godzilla. There were more than a lot of people think there are. So I had to talk about all that. And I had to talk about World War II. And it ended up being a chapter I almost cut in half. It is 2 chapter lengths in terms of how long the chapters are in this book. But I knew
it did set a precedent. I'm like, is it all going to be like this?
It's all like this. It is the longest one, but I reasoned that instead of cutting it in half, I needed to cut chapter 1 down. This is the cut down version, I promise. And because asking the reader to not get to Godzilla until chapter 3 was too much for me. That is a big ask, to just have 2 chapters of nothing but cultural and historical setup before you get to the monster. 1 chapter is as far as I was willing to push that.
It's the equivalent of reading an epic fantasy book that has a 100-page prologue.
A little bit. And even then, if you do it right, I'm not going to knock books that do that, because if you write
I'm just saying, like, I've heard that brought up as like this thing. It's like,
it's a thing.
Like on writers' podcasts, and they're like, "Oh yay, another epic fantasy book with a prologue that goes on forever." But
I've read a couple that nail that first act, where it's like, here's your setup, and it feels really organic and great. But some not so much. Sometimes it's a little bit of a slog, and I didn't want any longer, and chapter 1 would have been a slog. It's dangerously close, but I am actually it's in contention for the chapter I'm happiest with and how it came out.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot in there.
Yeah. Because then after that, everything felt breezier.
You have to get the setup out of the way.
It felt breezier. It was almost to the point where I was like, Danny, you could put a few more details in here. It's okay.
I did too.
Like in like the later chapters where you're talking about the movies, I'm like, you can talk more. It's okay.
I would have loved to. And the fact, I'm going to tell you a secret. Every time you find a part like that in the book, where it's like, in another couple paragraphs of this, those paragraphs exist. They're just not in the book. Every time you find that, I guarantee you.
Release the DiManna cut.
Listen, if the DiManna cut would have been 400 pages, like this would have been huge. It would have been. It would have been.
Seriously,
Yeah.
You're making this even more like the Snyder cut. You realize that? It would have been 400 pages.
No,
of epic scholarship.
Slow
with entire paragraphs dedicated to the giant condor and its symbolic meaning.
Listen, I originally pitched them Giant Condor the book, and they didn't take it. They didn't take it, man.
And so then John tried.
John, that was funny. Good old John and the April Fool's jokes. That was funny. So, oh goodness, what were we even talking about? What are we talking about? We're talking about cutting stuff out in length, and dear goodness gracious.
Oh, my mouse is being stupid. I was trying to go back to my questions.
We'll
do it live.
Anyway, we'll do it live.
That's on the live. We're talking about the book's audience.
Yes. So I think anybody who digs Godzilla might get something out of this.
Yeah, because then I said it's like I've read books that are for more, I guess you say, casual or beginner fans, and then there are other ones that are for the hardcore.
I tell you what. I had a borderline out of body experience when I found out that the first review for my book was from Toho Kingdom. I about lost my mind.
Full circle.
It was a surreal moment. It was really, it was a very, very good, very positive, lovely review. And the real kind of like blurb that was taken out of that's been used in a couple of other places. I think it's on Amazon now. I think it's on Barnes and Noble. I want to say Kim used it in the amazing trailer she made for me. I have to brag about that. It was a beautiful trailer. Is something, and I'm gonna not quote it exactly here, but good for people who are getting into the franchise and people who are already fans. You'll learn something new. So it was something along those lines. It's like it's good for seasoned fans and people just getting into it, and that is what I wanted. I did not want any aspect of this book to be gatekeepery in any way. I wanted anybody who thinks Godzilla is cool to pick it up and be able to get into it. And I didn't want to spook them with, long expository bits. I didn't want to disappoint people who know a lot about this stuff by being too vague. So I had to find a balance within the page limit that I was afforded. And I've had people tell me that I've done a good job with that. And that's really amazing. That really means a lot to me. And I'm glad people are enjoying it.
All right. Now, I do want to get into a few of, I'm calling it like the minutia questions. As I've been reading it, I'm just like, okay, I need to know, why did you make this choice? So we talked about the 1500 years, and we talked about the citations and things like that.
Yes.
And hopefully we don't go off on too much of a tangent and record another podcast. But one of the things that you did in this, and I have seen something of a shift with this, but I think yours is the first, we'll say, official source to make this shift. Goes back to what we were a bit of what we were talking about earlier with the screenwriters. So you talk a lot about Shinichi Sekizawa, who's, both of us admire quite a bit. Well, he had a compatriot who did a lot of other Toho movies back in the Showa era. Notably things like Rodan and Matango, and weirdly enough, King Kong Escapes. Stuff like that. For the longest time, we had assumed that his real name was, which is how I was bringing it up earlier, was Takeshi Kimura. And then later on, when he became disenchanted with the work, went by Kaoru Mabuchi. The theory being because Kaoru is a unisex name in Japan, so no one would really know it was him.
Mm.
Apparently, the scholarship with that has started to reverse. And now the belief seems to be that Kimura was the pen name and Mabuchi was his real name. I'm still trying to wrap my head around that and make the paradigm shift. Can you talk about that for a few minutes? Because, like I said, you're the first, we'll say, official source to make that shift.
It's something
that I know of.
Yeah, it's something that has been on my mind a lot since we did our panel all those years ago. Wow.
So 2019.
Oof, 7 years. That's sobering. Anyway, I love learning about these two guys has been really, really fascinating. And again, for the longest time, I had no real reason to think that the names would be reversed. But the more research I did, going back and looking at just stuff from the time, things that were written at the time, and interviews, and stuff that happened in accounts, and conferring with some other people on the subject who looked into this stuff before I even knew it was a thing, it seems pretty undeniable at this point that Mabuchi we had it backwards. That Kimura was the name that he wrote under. And that kind of blew my mind in a lot of ways. One of the first people who brought this up was our mutual friend Grattan of the Giant Monster BS podcast. And it was something that was really, really eye-opening to me. And we chatted about it a little bit at the time. And he was the first, he really got me kind of convinced on it. And the more I dug into it, I was like, you know what? I think this is the way it is, So that to me was something that I absolutely had to include, because I had not seen that codified in a book yet. One of my other goals with this book was a lot of the big discoveries and the big changes and the big interesting things, or even just fun facts that haven't been talked about. They're spread out all over the place right now. They are part of interviews. They are part of articles and podcasts, and maybe one book over here will mention it, but they won't mention anything else. What I really wanted to do was take a lot of those revelatory things that are kind of paradigm shifts that have happened within the world of kaiju academia, and put them in the book, give them a home, make kind of codify them a little bit, put them in print. And this was one of those things. The whole idea, the stuff about the King Kong versus Godzilla endings has been talked about before, but I wanted to go back, and I've never seen a book mention the Spaceman magazine. I'd never seen that. And the idea of who won, the big question of who won, who didn't win, was it a tie, did Kong win, did what, all that stuff. It's such a crazy thing. And most of the stuff I've seen talking about that all comes down to personal opinion, right? With maybe a little bit of cultural context and a little bit of history to back it up. But at the end of the day, it's I wanted this outcome. So I wanted to break it down and say, well, this person said this at this time, this person said that at another time. And really, at the end of the day, this is kind of how it is. This is why it's confusing. Again, why? Why is it confusing? Why can nobody agree on who won this thing, whether it was Kong or a draw? Nobody really thinks Godzilla won it, but what's the answer? And the truth is, it's complicated. And so I wrote about it being complicated. So the Kimura thing was absolutely part of that, because I hadn't seen that anywhere else, locked in. It's something that I've seen discussed elsewhere. It's stuff that I'd seen, that I talked about with people with, and I'd researched, but I hadn't ever seen it, kind of in book form, something that people can go get and use as a source for things. And so that was one thing I knew I had to put in there. And I find that absolutely fascinating. But yeah. Kimura and Mabuchi.
Yeah. And I bring it up because I feel you look at particularly the heavy hitters from the Showa era, and it feels like basically all of them have gotten books in some form or another celebrating them. Eiichi Tsuburaya has had several. Honda has had several. We're talking in English.
Yes.
Akira Fukabe is finally getting one because the
Yes.
guy, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but the guy who runs AkiraFukube.org, who's
Merrick
basically
Hominick.
been, Hominick, who's
Yes.
basically been doing the website, and then finally got someone. I think someone finally says like, "Dude, why don't you just make it a book?" And he's like, "You know what? I will." So he's putting that together. So that's going to be a big deal. You know,
I'm so excited.
at this point, the only one of like the big heavy hitters that we need is Tanaka. I'm surprised there isn't a Tanaka book, but maybe people think he's less interesting because he's a producer. I don't know.
Which is nonsense because he had an amazing career in life.
For sure. But the screenwriters, that's why you and I did that panel, because the screenwriters don't get enough love. And I feel like we did that panel kind of at the point where people in the fandom started talking more about the screenwriters. And it was largely because of Khaled. Khaled was the only guy who was really talking about them all that much.
Yeah.
And that was when people started to, like I said, started to talk about them more and take more notice. And so I feel like we were kind of on the cusp of that. And that's something that I personally am interested in exploring more, because we have all of this stuff about everybody else who worked on these movies, but the screenwriters are not getting the love that they deserve. Because, even like the suit actors get a ton of attention, and rightfully so. I have gone on the record on this podcast and elsewhere saying suit acting is real acting. It counts as such. But, then suit actors need more love. I also think screenwriters need more love. The thing I've concluded about filmmaking, and this is a little wounding for me as a writer, filmmaking to me is a very director-driven medium. Now, there are directors who write, there are, the Quentin Tarantinos and the Sylvester Stallones of the world, and though when you have an example of that, it really has a unified vision. But it's still a very director-powered industry. But when you look into what the screenwriters did for this, Sekizawa is just as responsible for not only for making Godzilla who he is, but for making Kaiju Eiga what it is.
True.
I mean, the man who wrote Mothra and completely changed the game. It's just, so that's why I had to bring it up, because now we had this paradigm shift. So now it's just like, I don't know what to do with that. So you're telling me that he wrote under the pen name, and then when he got disenchanted, he just put my real name on it. No one will know.
There's definitely more research to do as to why certain decisions were made on that front, which is why I don't really get into the why in the book on like that was done, because I don't completely have the full picture yet. But that's the order of operations. It's just now it's a matter of confirming some of the whys. And I'm sure that there are many people, like there are people out there who probably know the whys on that better than I do. And I'd love to talk to those people.
I would love to talk to those people too. But now I want to talk about, this really isn't, it really shouldn't be a minutia thing, but this is one of the coolest parts of this book.
Yeah.
And I feel like it might have been done as a little bit of a workaround, because one of the things that has plagued a lot of English language, shall we say, academic Godzilla books, is Toho has very strict policies on the use of images. This is why the David Khaled's book famously goes out of its way to not have, even on the cover, a picture. Like, if you just looked at the cover, at the cover image, you would not know it was a Godzilla book, because it's basically just a cityscape. You have to see the title text to know, oh, it's supposed to be a Godzilla book. First off, this cover gets away with it, and I don't know how. Let's talk about the cover here for a second. You mentioned this a little bit to me in private, but I want to know, because you were surprised that Font Hill got away with this.
I was a little surprised. I was very, as you might imagine, for the reasons you just mentioned, very worried about the pictures. So when the book was brought to me as a thing, they said, well, we want to do an image plate in the middle. of images, and my first thought was, nope, no, we're not doing that. But the more I thought about it, the more I thought, okay, I know that there are workarounds for this that make it possible. The cover, I had nothing to do with the cover. The only thing I did with the cover was approve it. And weirdly enough, after the approval came in, you might recall, this is a little esoteric, but you might recall that when I revealed the cover at G-Fest last year, the color was a little different. It was a little bit more yellow. And then ultimately it got, I think, maybe a little oranger, and then it got like super orange, and now it's like Nomura is on fire in Godzilla 2000 orange.
Yeah, this looks like Godzilla's taking a stroll at sunset or something.
It kind of does. It kind of does. I love how both almost apocalyptic yet peaceful it seems, which is both of the dichotomy of Godzilla. It's inviting, but also a little apocalyptic and scary, and they captured it. I think that this book looks so good. I had nothing to do with this. That's why I'm gonna gush, because I didn't have a thing to do with how good this looks. They made it look like $1 million, but how exactly Godzilla ended up on the cover, I couldn't tell you exactly how, but it was sent to me, and it was vague enough. Like, there's a silhouette there. It's clearly him, but it's not anything. It's not like a specific Godzilla. It looks like Junior to me, almost. It's a little Junior-y. You know, maybe it's the rounded nose and the posture, but it's recognizable as Godzilla. It's vague enough, especially in the spine area, that I figured it was. I think it's okay. And one of the reasons that I was empowered to do that is because of how I got the images to ultimately work. So it's a little tricky, and I had to go. When I say I had to go the extra 9 yards, what I actually mean is I went 18 yards. And we'll stop here for a second because it looks like there are some comments.
Oh, okay. Well, Elijah's saying, well, it's definitely Heisei. Yeah, I could tell that, because to be honest, Heisei Godzilla might be the most iconic design for Godzilla.
It's very near and dear to my heart. So having him on here really felt like, again, my inner 6-year-old was very to see.
And Kim says, I really wanted to use the shot of Godzilla and Nomura in the trailer, but I didn't want Toho to send out a SWAT team.
Yeah, it would have been great. But even for the trailer, we were trying to be very careful.
Yeah,
and that's one of the reasons the book is called G Cinema as well. I actually here's a story for you. So I pitched the book under a couple of different potential titles. The one that I really liked was G Cinema. And I picked it because I was unique. It was interesting. 2, here's another little thing. You will not find the Godzilla films described as movies in this book. I made sure to only use the word film.
Interesting.
Yes, that's a little Easter egg. I will never say Godzilla movie. I only use the words film and cinema. There's an argument to be made that there's a distinction between a movie and a film. Now, I don't know if I personally buy that, but the fact that it's an idea that's out there in the world gives it power in a way. And so I wanted to try and see if it was a challenge for myself. Can I get through this whole book without saying Godzilla movie? And I did. They're only ever described as films and cinema. I wanted to take it seriously. And so G Cinema. It also gets away with not using the name Godzilla, because I did not want to use the name Godzilla in the title. But I originally thought I might be able to get away with it, as there are books out there, like Dave Callett's book uses the name Godzilla, and other books that are not officially licensed do get away with it. And here's something funny. One of the original pitch idea titles that I put in for this was Godzilla: The First 70 Years.
That's hilarious.
This was before Stephen Ed's book was announced.
That is hilarious.
I pitched this, wrote it, and turned it in half a year before I knew their book existed.
That is so wild to me.
Yeah, so I'm glad I didn't pick that one.
Yeah, that would have caused some problems. Elijah wants to comment on that. He says, in the film world, film is higher art and movie is an entertainment piece.
That's the idea. That's the philosophy behind that. Is when you go get your popcorn and watch some big explosion, you're watching a movie. But when you're watching something that's a little bit more high, like I guess highbrow, a little bit more seriously minded, seriously made with intention. There's not a single Godzilla movie that's not made with intention, right? They're all made with something. And that to me is the ethos of cinema. You know, even if the intention is just to entertain school kids in the 70s, even if that's it, you know, they all have some kind of artistic intention behind them. I think any movie does. If the studio is just doing it for content, then you can be sure the people who are actually making the costumes and filming it are doing it from a place of loving the art, even if the studio doesn't see it as art. You know, it's the same reason a movie can come out now and it's is horrible as a lot of modern movies tend to be. I guarantee you the actors and the people who are involved on the ground actually putting in the work to make it are treating it as art, even if what's the final product doesn't fully translate into that. Somebody cares. Somebody has to care.
Then your chapter on Godzilla 98 is going to be interesting. Okay.
I think people might be a little surprised by that one because like I said, I'm not here to take dumps on the Godzilla films. I'm telling you why the movie ended up the way it did. I'm not defending it, and I'm not coming to its rescue or anything. And this is something I say in the beginning, in what is the author's note? Yeah, the author's note, where I'm not here to poop on these films, but I'm also not here to ignore like actual like flaws. I'm not here to ignore issues. And when an objective issue pops up, I explain it through the context of history. Why did it turn out like that? Was it a budget thing? Did Roland Emmerich just not care? I have 2 quotes in the book that are an interesting dichotomy from Roland Emmerich. Quote number 1 is like, oh, this dude doesn't give a crap. And then the other quote is, oh, he actually got really close to understanding part of Godzilla there. And he saw something as being important. So I put both extremes in there to paint a full picture. I'm not telling you how to feel. It's not my place to tell you how to feel about any of these movies. I'm just the facts, man. Just the facts. And I talk about how it's both a black sheep, but it was also a lot of people's introduction to Godzilla in the 90s. And that's just as valid. I'm just laying it out. And people can take from that what they want. I'm not here to change minds, but them's the facts.
Right.
So
Elijah also had a counter to something that we were discussing. I'm going to address it and then move back into the book. 2 counters. Mothra was written by 3 different people before Sekizawa. That is the novella, not the screenplay. And the film industry is shifting to directors having to be writers as well for their career to take off. Are you talking about at the time, or are you talking about now? I'm a little confused on that. But that is the case. I've said there are a lot of directors who also write the screenplays, which is how you get a more unified vision. But typically, the screenwriter and the director are 2 different people. As for the thing about Mothra, yes, the novella, which was commissioned first, was written first by 3 different people. Go check out the Dr. Jeffrey Engel's translation of it. It's absolutely wonderful.
Please go buy that.
Yeah.
Please.
However, Sekizawa did change it a lot. And it was that screenplay, that film, that became the template for Kaiju Anga going forward. So I will not take anything away from the 3 authors of the novella. Not at all. But the novella and the movie are not the same thing. And Sekizawa puts a lot of himself into that screenplay.
I'm definitely gonna throw out a plug for that book. If anybody out there has not purchased The Luminous Fairies and Mothra, translated into English by the incredible Jeffrey Engels, just one of the sweetest dudes I've ever talked to. He's so kind and so talented at what he does. Please go get that book. Support him. Support more of these things coming. He wants to do more. There are plans. Yes. So please go do that.
For sure.
We're talking about images. We're talking about images.
Yes,
that's right.
Yes.
So the images.
Unless you have anything to add to what Elijah's talking about.
Oh no, I think you both had good points.
Okay.
So the images ultimately.
Yeah, I just want to show a few of them off.
Yeah.
So this is it's kind of in the center of the book.
Mm-hmm.
And I really want to know how you pulled this off, because like I said, this is one of the problems that typically plagues books. That's why Ed and Steve's new book was such a big deal.
Yes.
I haven't read all of it yet, but the bits of it that I have read, I'm like, okay, the information's solid. It's not necessarily anything new. It's good, but it's not necessarily new. The big appeal of it is there are images published in that book that have never been seen before.
The images are outstanding. They're
Yeah.
oh my gosh, because they had direct access to the Toho archive.
Right.
And so they got official production stills and all that stuff. Now, what they were given for that film was not marketing material, right? They were given private stuff. They were given stuff right from the horse's mouth, for lack of a better way to say it. So here's what we're talking about. Every image you see in this book, in that image plate, is a physical item in my home. Every single thing, all the lobby cards. Those are 2 lobby cards we're looking right now, listeners, specifically listeners. We're looking at 2 vintage 1965 lobby cards from the American release of Ghidra, specifically Ghidra, the 3-headed monster. And those are 2. I have those lobby. What you're looking at are scans. Yes. Okay. So manga cover for Ebra Horror of the Deep, and a map of Lecce Island from that film. Those are all things I own. Posters, the VHS cover for Destroy All Monsters, which is literally over my shoulder right now. That's literally the one in the book. Laser discs, the Godzilla vs. Megalon comic that was handed out by Cinema Shares, vintage theater advertisements, DVD covers, the cover for the Marvel comic.
Signed
by
covers.
Yes, Tomoko Ai and Katsuhiko Sasaki signed that for me in 2014 or 2015, I believe. So it's just like all of those things are physical things that I own. I did not pull a single image off of Google. I did not pull a single image from like Getty Images or an archive or anything like that. So these are all artifacts from a personal collection. Everything you're looking at, I brought to my library. Same library where this whole mess started when I was 6 years old. Those are my tapes. Yes. So a lot of my VHS tapes ended up in the book. Toy cards, the Godzilla Island image that you're looking at there is the back of a Mothra, a Bandai toy card. A ticket to see Godzilla 1998 for free. There is, and I think you might have, I think you went past it. There's an animation cell of Godzuki in there from my collection. From the 1970s Hanna-Barbera series. There he is. A lot of those posters you're seeing, you're either looking at actual full-size posters from my poster collection or files that I got in Japan, clear files that have the poster artwork on them that I was able to duplicate.
I just now noticed that the Godzilla vs. Biollante VHS still has a price tag.
Yes, it still has the shrink wrap on it. So the price tag is on there. It's this one right here, right over my noggin. All those tapes are these ones right here. And those were my Heisei representations. I had to get each film represented in some way.
Right.
And so I did that.
Like the physical media covers in particular were amusing for me because of like, oh, I have that, or I once had that.
Yes.
Because unfortunately, and there's been points where I've kind of regretted it a little bit. I was a bit of a practical collector, as I like to say, and once I upgraded, I parted with the older editions, and there were a couple of times, like I said, I regretted that and remedied that, especially once I busted my butt trying to get the Godzilla versus the Smog Monster VHS. Yes. Oh, look, it got put out on DVD and now it's on Blu-ray. Well, I guess I don't need this VHS anymore. It doesn't have the superior AIP dub where the song is dubbed. Crap!
Did you have
this one? The VHS again?
Did you have this one?
No.
Then surely you had this one.
Yep.
There it is. There were only 2. There were only ever 2, and these are the 2. They're very rare, but I do have them. And for Hedera is very special to me. I adore that film with every fiber of my being. And I actually wanted to do something really special. I'm mumbling. I wanted to do something very special for that. So Hedera's representation in the book is a Smog Monster AIP press kit cover that has that beautiful artwork on it. The full press kit is wild. It's got some crazy stuff in it. And there it is down there at the bottom. It's big and magnificent in real life. And it's a beautiful book. It's so good. And I wanted to get that art on there. And I wanted to get like the name Smog Monster in there too, specifically, because I just love that name. So yeah, the images were interesting. So there is precedent for this. This is something that I believe a lot of Font Hill books have done before, just based on having purchased some and looked at them. And it's something that books like the Godzilla FAQ have done, where the images are from a private collection. They're a personal collection. They are items that you can go buy, or they are promotional items. All the posters, I want to say probably about a third of the posters are real ones. A lot of the older ones are replicas that I purchased over the years. A lot of them came from a big box that I bought at a convention that had replica Showa era posters, and they're just beautiful. And I knew I had to get them in there to get the artwork represented in some way. And some of them are very unique. I tried to put posters in that some people might not recognize. And it was quite a journey. And so everything you're seeing,
this one I didn't recognize.
Which one? The GMK one?
The GMK.
That is the album cover. That is the Mondo album cover. Mondo or Waxwork? I don't remember which, but that is artwork from that. So Mondo. There you go. Okay. So everything you're seeing, because it's from a private collection and it's all basically like merchandise or marketing material, it's fair use. Like I said, I didn't pull none of them are production stills. Like I could not use a single production still because production stills are from the studio and you can't do that. So the closest I got were a couple of press photos that were released. The one of the 54 Godzilla that's in there. And then there's another press photo I have from Godzilla versus the Thing. And they're black and white photos from the set, but they were given out as press kits, right? Those are physical things that, there you go. That beautiful picture, which makes me think of the Ian Thorne book every time I see it from the 70s, because that was there. And there's the image from Godzilla versus the Thing. And oh my gosh, it was really an amazing kind of loophole in a way. And thus far, I have not been sued into oblivion. I tried to make sure I did my research on how to do this, legally, not just because I'm scared, but because I have respect for Toho's copyright on this stuff, and I would never want to infringe on it. So, like I said,
lawyers are scary.
Lawyers are scary. You know what's scary is
their lawyers are scary.
Yeah, they are scary. I don't want to mess with them. And what's even scarier than that is paying for my own lawyer. Like, I don't have lawyer money.
This Godzilla 98 ticket thing is of particular interest to me because I also have this.
You do? Okay.
I do because obviously you didn't go see the movie during its first theatrical run. I did, and I did get my hands on this, and I'm curious to hear what condition yours is in, because one of the things that it came with was a film cell.
I have my film cell.
I have my film cell too, but time has not been kind to it.
Oh dear. Yeah, the problem with the film cells, at least for me, and if anybody can tell me what I'm doing wrong, if I'm doing something wrong, please tell me. I can't scan those. The light doesn't shine through right. It just looks like a big black box. So I don't know how to scan those and make them work. If there's a way to capture a film cell image as a scan that you can then save as a JPEG and put into a book, I'd love to know. I know I could just Google it. I don't know why I didn't just Google. I'm sure there's a way to do it, but if anybody out there knows, let's have a conversation, because I was going to
say at some point I'd have to go digging for it, but yeah, time has not been kind to the film cell, and it's not like I was getting it out constantly and leaving it out. It's basically been in storage for years, and anytime I pull it out, it seems like another bit of the image is just getting eroded away
Oh,
by the
stinks.
fingers of time. And
Yeah.
maybe I don't know. Maybe I just wasn't looking at it right. But I would get out and I look at it, it's like that looks vaguely like a giant iguana.
That's funny. I actually just recently came into possession of some film cells from Japan from Gamera 2. And I have been trying to find a way to preserve it in some way. Like, I mean, I could hold it up to the light and take a picture, and I'll probably do that, but I want to try to like scan it because I've been trying to do pardon me, I've been trying to do some archival work to kind of preserve some of this stuff. One of my next big projects is going to be digitally archiving all of my VHS tapes in some way, front, back, top, bottom, the actual tape label, all of it. I'm going to archive all of it and just have it all digitally in some way. Preserve all those crazy synopses that make no sense, and talk about
your next book is going to be a Godzilla VHS like photo book.
That is a plan.
With a giant chapter on the many tapes of Godzilla versus Megalon.
The Strange Case of Godzilla versus Megalon will have its own thing. That is a plan. I have no immediate plans to like just do it next week, but a goal of mine is to archive all of these, kind of like what Sean Lincolnbeck did with his poster book, but to do it for home video releases.
Yeah,
I think that would be wonderful.
I got to tell you, this is completely off topic, but the best back cover copy for anything kaiju or kaiju adjacent I have ever seen is for the Warder Archive edition of The Last Dinosaur. Whatever intern wrote that, I would say give him a raise, but if he's an intern, it's like no, Warner Brothers, you hire him right now, because that back cover copy was brilliant.
It was. I am familiar with that, and it's amazing. I actually don't know where that originates. It might not originate at Warner Archive. It might have been older, but
well, whoever wrote that,
genius.
He deserves a prize. I'm just saying, go out, because that if you find the listing on Amazon, that is what it says in the product description, so you can find it there, so you don't have to buy it, or you can listen to. I've recorded a solo episode because it was a Patreon pick for The Last Dinosaur, and I'm like, this is so good, I'm just going to read it on the air. Just like, oh yeah, here's your synopsis. It's like, you want a synopsis, kaiju lovers? Here you go, and I just read the back cover.
Yeah, it's pretty great. It's pretty great.
It was brilliant. There is an art to back cover copy.
There is,
and I feel like people don't appreciate it.
They don't, because it's very disposable. It's back when you and I were but youngsters, before there was no internet movie database. This is all we had, man. Right here, this is it. The back cover copy of a VHS tape or a DVD or a book or anything. That's all we had, and this was your Friday night. This was supposed to sell you on it and make you part with your money at a Suncoast Video or a Blockbuster. If you were going to rent it, you had to sell somebody on this. So it's very important, and you can't be too crazy with it.
Well, and what's really funny is I remember there would be those rare instances where I would find a VHS tape and there was no back cover copy. It would just be pictures on the back because they're like, oh, you know what it is. You picked this up because you know what it is.
Yes.
The first one that comes to mind was Batman 89.
Yes. There's not even
Batman 89 has no copy on the back.
Nope.
You find that VHS, it's just, and it's that minimalist poster that's just the Batman logo, and you pick it up and you look on the back, and it's just a few screenshots from the movie. No text.
Yes.
It's like the thing that was just like, we know why you got this. Because it's Batman.
Because it's Batman. Because it's Batman. Michael Keaton, and it's Batman.
It's Batman.
That's good stuff. Maybe the next.
We don't need to tell you anything about this movie. You know what it is.
Oh yeah. I think that's about all I have to say on the images.
Yeah, it was great
that
stuff.
answers
I
your
was wondering,
question.
you must have a very large scanner. That's all I have to say.
I went to my local library and used their scanner. And it's a pretty decent. So one little bit of inside baseball before we can move on. We're sitting at 3 hours. Is when you see some of the larger images in there, like the posters. I think the largest poster I scanned was like a full 17 by 20 something. It was big, so I had to scan it in chunks, and then I had to digitally stitch it together into one picture. So if you look at the big images, like the Godzilla poster that's like right there at the front, or the Son of Godzilla poster, things like that, what you're looking at is about 8 scans that
Yeah.
I stitched together. And what's kind of ridiculous, and this is this is going to make me look a little incompetent, but what else is new? I don't have Photoshop. I don't have any kind of image editing software. So I literally just saved them all as JPEGs and put them all in a Word document and scooched them together until they were one picture. And then I just saved each one and grouped them into one image, rotated it, cleaned it up, and saved it again as a JPEG, and it was done. I didn't need Photoshop.
Sir, get thyself a Canva account.
I don't make Canva money. I'm a marketing company.
No, you can get Canva for free.
I know I can. I don't have Photoshop money. Canva, I've used Canva before, and it's good.
I love Canva.
Yeah, it's very.
I have switched to Canva for the last like couple seasons of the podcast, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so much better. I've been annoyed with how esoteric and needlessly obtuse Adobe programs have become.
Yeah, there's a lot going on there.
But that's a rant for another day.
It is.
Yeah. But yeah, that is I think that is honestly one of the best things about this is this middle section. And it's in color, as you've been seeing too, which is another thing that I've really appreciated. And that you got a representation of every movie in here. I think, did you get the anime trilogy in here?
There's one image in there for the anime.
Yeah, right here.
One image.
Okay. With Godzilla Earth. Yeah. So you got them all in there. You got Singular Point and all that.
Yep. Everything.
And it's technically up to date because that's the latest Godzilla film at the moment.
Yes, that was the other thing. That's one of the things I pitched this to the publisher on, because even though it was offered to me, I did have to put together a formal pitch. And one thing that I put in there was, this is going to be up to date. This is going to have all the stuff that's been released. I'm going to talk about the TV shows. I'm going to talk about all the stuff that I can possibly fit in there. And it's going to be as up to date as possible. And as of right now, it is up to date. At the end of this year,
no,
it will not be. But
I'm just saying, maybe in, I don't know, 5-10 years, pull a John and do a second edition.
I would love to do that. I would love to do a second edition once there's enough material to do so.
I was gonna say, do you have Monarch in there?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I haven't gotten that far.
And it ends with a tease of like the second season. I was actually able to add that at the last minute before the book went to press, because the announcement of the spinoff happened and the dates for season 2. So I was able to kind of sneak those in at the absolute last minute to make it up to date, and put the -0 title in as well. Because when I wrote the book, we knew that there was going to be a sequel, but we didn't know what it was called. So I managed to sneak that in like just before it went to actually to print the darn thing, and I got it in there. So it's as up to date. Oh, Monarch season 2.
Yeah.
Well,
yes.
Throw your copy in the wood chipper, Elijah. It's worthless now. Worthless, I tells you. Worthless. My goodness.
Paperweight. It's officially a paperweight now.
Paperweight. I've been using my copy to prop up my desk because one of the legs on the desk is a little wiggly, so I just kind of eater it in there, and I don't do that. That's a lie. That's a complete lie. Don't worry. I would not do that.
I was going to say, why would you abuse your own book like that?
I would never do that. I'm like super careful with my books. Like,
I was going to say, I'm more likely to believe that you're going to be like, I love you, G-Cinema. I think you're going to cuddle with it when you go to bed.
I don't. I mean, are you cuddling with your copy?
I did.
Okay, I'm leaving. This interview's over.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Danny is a book abuser confirmed.
I slander, sir. I don't even like. I read my books like it's like I don't even like cracking the spines. I'm like weirdly anal with my books. Like I don't know, man. Like this one is fun. Like this is my copy. I'm just kind of carrying around, right? So this one's gonna get a little beat up, and that's okay. But I don't crease my covers. I don't like. I'm very careful. Like weirdly careful with my books. So,
Right.
I don't know. This one.
Well,
this one will
you
get
better-
a little bit of.
You better bring a Sharpie with you to G-Fest in a few months.
Okay. One little story before we move on. So
I was going to say, because I'm going to be asking for a signature, and there's probably I will start a betting pool. I will start a betting pool with all of our friends. All right, guys, how many signatures do you think Danny's going to give out for his book at G-Fest?
Oh my gosh.
For the entire weekend. I will start that betting pool.
Send your answers to jimmysucks@gmail.com.
That is not his email.
That is not his email. That is not his email. It's actually a little bit more profane, and I edited it.
Yes.
So, this is a family show. 11 billion says
11 billion signatures.
11
I'm
billion.
sorry, Mr. Reeve. That's not a real number.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we'll break a record and 11 billion will be canonized because of
16.
16.
That's a low ball, and you know it.
I would be thrilled with 16.
I'm not willing to go triple digit, but I'm thinking
triple digit.
I'm not willing to go triple digit, but
okay.
I'm thinking,
you're not willing. Okay.
I'm thinking minimum 30.
Minimum
30.
So I've signed a couple so far. I signed one that
I'm just talking about G-Fest, but
no, I know, but like just recently I've signed a couple for family members, and then one friend who I met for dinner the other night, and she brought a Sharpie. And
no, Elijah, no. I'm not putting that on the screen. I refuse.
It's for the best.
That meme is dead. No.
I mean, he could have added 2 to it, and it could have also been bad, but we're not going to.
Yeah, that would have also been bad, but at least I could have quoted a classic 90s movie.
You'll never know, listeners. You'll never know. It's lost to history. You'll never know. So, Les shrug. Yeah, Elijah's harassing us right now, and I'm here for it. So, the other night he's
trolling us like
he is.
like the Pacific Rim sequel, like Uprising.
Ouch. So,
Elijah, down boy.
Mama Kim has swooped in.
I was going to say Mama Kim just came out.
He did. All right, quickly. I signed this book, and my friend brought a Sharpie, and I looked at this, and the first thing I thought was, oh no, this is not, I can't write in the book with this Sharpie. It's going to bleed right through the paper. So I took the Sharpie and I put the teeniest little dot in the corner, just the teeniest little baby dot in the corner. And sure enough, it bled right through. And I had a pen, so I was able to sign it without incident, but I'm really glad I didn't sign it with a Sharpie, or would have ruined it. Like it would have bled. It would have been terrible. So I will not be signing these with Sharpies. I will have to bring a nice pen.
I was going to say, bring a high quality pen.
Nice pen. I have a couple of very nice pens. I'm going to bring a pen.
Oh, he's bringing you a fine point Sharpie. Ooh.
Okay. The last time somebody signed something for me with a fine point Sharpie, it was a movie poster at G-Fest, and it ripped the poster. So we'll see. It's fine. So the fact that like people have messaged me and said, I'm going to bring my copy for you to sign. I'm going to bring my copy for you. I've gotten so many of those that it's dizzying and wonderful. And it hasn't fully sunk in yet. You know, like people are messaging me and saying, well, okay, they're saying a few things. One, I bought your book. That's already, wow, thank you. And they're saying, I'm going to see you in a few months at this convention. Could you please sign it for me? And I'm like, what is my life? What's happening? Really, I have no words for how profoundly that touches my heart. Like the fact that somebody would want me to sign anything, much less a thing that I wrote that they bought. And again, I didn't. It's not prompted. I didn't get online and say, "Bring me your book and I'll sign it," because it's like I didn't do that. I'm just saying, here's the book. It exists, and if you want it, there it is. And people are saying, "Hey, I bought it. Can you sign it?" And that's huge.
I've got 2 words for you, Danny. Book tour.
Book tour. I don't think I'm gonna get far on a book tour about Godzilla movies, but I do.
You would be surprised. I would still call up, a few libraries, bookstores, or whatever.
Oh, well, that I've done.
Want me to do some, book signings for you?
That I have done. I actually, as of right now, I'm booked to do easiest worst. Just do it. It's fine. I earned it.
There you go.
Okay.
There.
Nice.
You get them both.
I'll take both. Yeah. So I have an in right now at a local comic shop. I'm going to be doing a signing in August, which is really, really cool. There are 2 or 3 local bookstores around me that I'm going to be inquiring about. And a few of them have, like, my friends have called them because they know the owners, and they're like, I know a local author. And it's really flattering. And just the other day that happened, and it was Barnes and Flip Flap and Noble. I have an email and a phone number to call my local Barnes and Noble and set up a book signing. And I the words coming out of my mouth right now, Marchan, I can't believe it. I really can't believe it. And Barnes and Noble has to actually get it in stock first, though. So here's that story, because I did promise it briefly. Yeah. So multiple people have gone into multiple Barnes and Nobles around the country and have reached out to me, people I don't know, friends, and they have said it's not like we can't get it. Either we pre-ordered it from Barnes and Noble and we haven't gotten our copies yet, or we went and looked on the shelves and it's not there. And I did a little digging. I asked a few people, and I actually went to my local Barnes and Noble and did a little digging. So they're sold out online. And the answer that was communicated to a friend of mine that was then told to me was the book has been popular and is selling out online. And because there's no stock online, they're not shipping people's orders out until they get more stock from Great Britain. So they have to restock. And until then, it's not going up on shelves. But I did confirm that my local store, and this was through somebody else telling me, I didn't ask about this myself, but they confirmed that my store at least is going to have 3 or 4 copies on shelves here within the next however long it takes for them to restock. So it's oh my God, it's sold out on Barnes and Noble. What do you mean?
Relish that. There are not very many people who can say their first book sold out.
No, they really, they can't. And I don't even, like, the words I'm saying right now are not computing in my brain, like, how is that real? How is that real? And then I have a friend up in Canada. This is funny because this touches on a very personal topic for you. So I have a friend up in Canada who ordered it off of Amazon Canada. Mm-hmm. And he couldn't get it either because it sold out there too. The only copy currently, at least as of last week, it might be different now, the only copy available through Amazon.ca.Canada was a used version for $130. Somebody scalped my book, Marchand, for $130.
And the weird thing is, I've seen that for my books too, and I'm like, what are you doing?
Like, I don't know how people get away with this, but like, I mean, I hope nobody buys the dang thing. It's $130. You could get 4 copies or something for that amount of money. Please don't buy that.
I just
because it's happened to you.
Did you think this was really that limited of a run and it's not going to go into print again? It's just like,
it's very, somebody saw that it was sold out and saw an opportunity to create an artificial, like, it's rare thing, I guess. I mean, I don't know the full story, but that's my gut. That's why most people do that kind of thing and they scout stuff. It's like they create the scarcity. A lot of people create the scarcity by going into Walmarts and filling up their toys with their carts with GXK toys and then selling them for $50, $100 a pop. But this isn't that. Like, I think somebody probably saw that it was out and then swooped in and tried to manipulate people. And I certainly hope nobody buys it.
I hope so too. But I'm just
That's
thinking
horrible.
of, as a physical media collector, and you would know what I'm talking about here. Even if something is not officially out of print, if it's suddenly not in stock, somebody will be like, "It's out of print," and then they'll start scalping it, and then 5 minutes later, it's available on Amazon again at retail price, and it's like, you, sir, look like an idiot.
It's like the Looney Tunes where the cartoon character stops mid-sentence, looks at the
Are
camera.
Are you kidding, Elijah?
Not as bad as... No, he's not kidding. That's real.
Wow.
The Sony Blu-ray is...
I have a $1,200 Blu-ray set sitting on my shelf.
You have a $15 to $20 Blu-ray because nobody will ever pay that, nor should they. But no, it's. Like
I have discovered listings on eBay with somebody attempting to sell all 4 Big Bad Beetleborg DVD sets. And I think they're either like new or new for the low price of $2,000.
That's a steal. That's a steal. That's so low. That's like way too low. They got to hike that up. I'm thinking 5 figures. Come on, let's bump it up a bit here. But yeah, it's the book is I think it's got there's 1 copy left on Amazon UK. They have to reorder more there. There are a couple of other spots where it's running out of stock. So it's kind of insane. So my next order of business is before they completely goober it up. I got to go right to the publisher and get copies for G-Fest to bring. I got to do that before they're I'm toast. So I got to do that. But the fact that there are a couple of places where it's getting scarce right now. It's only been a week. It's been a week in a pinch. It's been about 10 days. And, after all those pre-orders getting fulfilled, I don't know. There's a part of me that wants to think there's a very simple, not that cool explanation for this, right? There has to be something on, has to be some reason. Maybe 6 copies were ever printed ever.
Oh, I was gonna say, that being that the publisher underestimated how many copies they would need.
I have no confirmation of that. I guess that's possible. Oh my God. I mean, I guess that's possible. I don't know. All I know is that Barnes & Noble's waiting on more, and they're going to have it on shelves when it comes out, and then people who pre-ordered it are going to get theirs when they ship, and it's
makes me glad I pre-ordered this when I did.
Yeah. I mean, it's still, it's not going away on Amazon America right now. I think that's probably the best place to get it if you want to get it quick and you want to get it. Maybe $2 or $3.
I got it the day of.
Yes.
Usually, if I pre-order, I don't always get it on release day. It may come a day or two after release day. This came on release day.
That's cool. I had a lot of people on release day send me messages saying, "I got it. Here it is." I'm the collage image. I put up a collage image. You're in it. You saw it end of last week, or over the weekend. I don't remember when it was, but it was 9 or 10 pictures. I probably got double that now, and I'm going to make a new collage that's every time I get more pictures, I'm going to add it, and I'm going to keep posting it so that I can keep thanking people. Every person who has reached out to me in a public way, they tweeted at me, or it's a Facebook post or something, I've shared every single one. If you get it and you take a picture, or even if you don't, it doesn't matter. If you got it and you I will absolutely share it. 100%. I will share it, and I will thank you because you deserve it. It's been really amazing, and I can't quite fully. It hasn't fully sunk in yet. It's been pretty amazing though. I'm rambling. What other questions you got? Are we?
We basically covered everything that I had in my little document. I was going to ask if I had anything else to add, but I just want to reiterate to you, Danny. I mean, in all seriousness, I've known you for 8 years. We bonded because we're both writers, and we love all this stuff, and it's been very exciting for me to see you go through the whole process of getting that first book out. reminds me a little bit of when I did it, and that's why I was reminding you. It's like, hey, really soak it up, because this is going to sound kind of pessimistic, but you won't have that again. You could publish 100 books between now and the end of your life, and you will not have this experience again.
There will only ever be a first, the first time. And that has, you're very right. Thank you. And that has not been lost on me. The fact that you're only ever going to do your first book the first time, right? Like, this is, everything else from here on out will be 2, 3, 4, and so on into however long I'm lucky enough to continue doing this, and people are interested in what I have to say. And there it is. I'm so proud of you, Danny, says Kim. Thank you, Kim. Thank you, Kim. That's so sweet. I've heard like, I've had many people say that recently, like, Dan, you did good. I'm proud of you. That means more to me than the book does. Like, like, just the people who believed in me on this stuff, that is a greater gift to me than even being able to hold a book. This is its own level of surreal right here, holding a book that you wrote. This is its own level of beauty and just and blessing and magic, whatever you want to call it. It's amazing. But I've been very, very fortunate over my journey through this stuff, whether it's my mom when I was 6 years old, or the incredible crew of people who surround me now, you and Kim and Elijah, and so many other people, too many people to mention here. I'd be rattling off so many names. These are all incredibly special people to me, and people who I never would have met if it weren't for this guy. Not the book, but the monster, right? And we've talked about this in relation to G-Fest before and other things, but the people you connect with, the souls, the human souls you get to count as part of your life beyond just the purview of having a shared interest. These are people who, are going to be in my life forever. And this was the gateway, but it helped me meet people, and it helped me, it brought special humans into my life. And whether that's, like family or friends or people I've never met online who took it upon themselves to take an interest and add this to their shelves, I can sit here and tell you thank you. And it's just, there's no way to make the words thank you sound as important as I want them to. But thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you to my friends, readers, everybody. You have given me a tremendous gift by believing in me, and your belief in me is in this book. It is woven into the fibers of this book. And I owe the people in my circle everything for this. I really, truly do. This has a lot of other people in it too, not just me. So that's my final thought on that. I'll say that.
Is this the part where we play the video?
I think it is. I think we can finally play that little video if we'd like to.
Just give me a second here to pull it up.
All right.
Hopefully,
while you're looking at that, I'll read Elijah's comment while you're.
Oh, okay. I'll put it up there if you want to address it. I was going to wait. I was like, I don't want this to buzzkill the video, but here you go.
Elijah sucks dookie, but the people who are around you love what you do and believe in your. Thank you. Believe in your work. JFest is even hosting you for an interview at the convention. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. I can officially talk about that now.
I was going to say we can actually say that.
We can actually say that. I haven't talked about my G-Fest stuff yet, but I might as well now before we hit play. I don't even know how to say this and not like get choked up, but like I'm being interviewed at G-Fest, and it's on Friday. It's basically opening the show after I've been going to G-Fest since 2012. And I've seen so many people be interviewed at G-Fest of all different walks of fandom and, alumni from the movie, all this stuff. And I'm going to be interviewed at G-Fest. I have no words. I have none. And you are not Dookie, Elijah, nor do you suck it. That's a sentence I just said. That's a sentence. All right, let's fire this up.
Well, do we want to talk about Well, we'll save that for after this because it's actually kind of relevant because this was at the writers panel.
This was at the writers panel.
Yep.
Last but not least, my goodness, where to start? First of all, names, that's simple. My name is Daniel DiManna.
Oh my God.
Bless you all. Thank you. My gosh. Among other things, I am an incredibly lucky, blessed human being to get to do what I do with writing. For 7 years now, I have been purveying over my baby, which is the Godzilla Novelization Project.
I was nervous.
A lovely, fun thing I get to do online. Certainly couldn't earn money off of it, but it's been a wonderful excuse to turn the Godzilla films into prose novels. But outside of that, I am very fortunate to be a professional writer in real life. I am a marketing.
Gosh, I forgot how stacked that panel was last year.
Outside of that, I obviously do this for fun, and then professionally, I have co-written audio commentaries. I have written some liner notes. I've written lots of articles for a few magazines. I have some essays that are going to be in some books coming up here soon, and a couple of projects I can't talk about quite yet, but one that I can. Because how long have I been doing this panel with you guys? This is like the 4th or 5th year?
Yeah, 4th or 5th?
I want to say 5th.
I was going to say, when was the first? I can't remember. Was the first time you were on it? Was it here at the Hyatt or back at Crown Plaza?
It was at the Crown Plaza. So it's 2022, I think. So this would be the 4th year I've done it. I think that makes sense.
No, because I don't think they've been at Crown Plaza since before COVID.
Well, it doesn't. I think this is my 4th writers panel.
Yeah.
And most of what I do is via magazines, or it's something that you hear, or it's something that you read, on your phone or on your computer. It's not physical. So I've never had anything really physically to show off here with all these great writers, with all these books. And I am incredibly happy to say that changes today, because coming up next year, I will have a book in print, and it is not just any book. It is a dream project of mine. It is a history book on the history and the thematic depth and meaning of the Godzilla franchise. Coming out from Fonthill Media. Ladies and gentlemen, V Cinema.
The yellow cover.
The yellow cover. This is about where I peed my pants. I don't know if you can tell it, but my face changes. I'm kidding.
I know. Obviously. There you go. So this will be it'll be coming out in February from Fonthill Media in the UK. And that means that if you have questions about published Godzilla stuff, I can now answer it. So yeah.
Say I have questions.
Yes, I'm sure you do. But obviously I don't have a real book to show off. I was hoping it might be ready, or I might have a version in time, but it'll be available where all good books are sold, Barnes & Noble, all of the above, in February of next year. And I do have
maybe a little later.
If anybody wants a reminder.
A little later.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'm going to set them up here, and you guys can.
Wow.
Oh yeah. You can get an autograph if you want one.
This is such a legit looking cover. I love it.
Thank you. Here you go.
Yeah.
Couple down there. Sorry, I kind of took over there, but there we go.
As you should, though. This is huge.
This is very big. This is very, very
cool.
cool.
This was something like you and I had talked about doing, but then you went and did it.
Sweet.
Yes, I did. Gosh darn it. This was
kaiju sized.
Yes.
Representation for breach of contract. You can contact Raymond Martin.
Yeah,
Oh, David.
Thank you,
only a
Sam.
few
David.
people in this room get that.
David.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
a deep cut.
a little bit.
But yeah, that's it. That was it. That was
Yeah.
it. I can go home now. That was my
say,
announcement.
No notes. All right.
Oh my gosh, Elijah, my man. I've seen that a handful of times, and the fact that he sat and filmed that for me was really, really amazing.
I do actually have a full video of the panel. I need to upload it. So
Please do.
That's gonna be on there again.
Mm-hmm. And then this year they're gonna film all of them, which is pretty cool. Yes. So we'll have more to talk about G-Fest another time, because there's a lot of G-Fest stuff to talk about. But
yeah, there is a lot of G-Fest stuff to talk about. A couple more comments, and then I think we'll finally wrap up. This has actually gone on
Indeed.
a tiny bit longer than I thought.
Yeah,
But we got one more comment here from Jane Meyer. Well done, Danny. And she's nice to me too. Yeah.
she threw you a bone.
Yeah.
You might want to duck. Those hurt.
Really? And then Brendan from Autistic Lizard Productions poked in here really quick. My boys! Oh, we got Kim. We got some more Kim. post-stream shenanigans, or are we all too sleepy and or sick? I might be able to do it for a little bit, but not terribly long. One of the things that I have discovered is, as much as I love these headphones, if you sit around for a couple of hours with them squeezing your head,
it does tend to, it's a problem. It becomes a problem.
Just
I'm not wearing any.
Yeah, just a tiny bit. But I would do my shameless self-promotion, but at this point, I'm just going to tell people to listen to the credits, because this isn't about me. It's about you, Danny. So what else do you want to, tell the peoples?
Well,
besides, I wrote a book. Yeah.
That might have come up a few times over the last 3.5 hours. But yes, so the most obvious thing out of the way first. So if anybody listening live, later, podcast, video, whatever, Elijah's already ahead of the game. That's funny. Once is interested in this book and would like to invite it into their homes, give it a read, all that good stuff. First of all, I thank you very, very much. And like I said, I'm not going to tell you need it, but it would mean a lot if you got it. You can find it. It's crazy. Pretty much anywhere books are sold. In theory, Barnes Noble's a little laggy right now, but in theory, you should be able to order it offline pretty simply once they restock. And it's probably not going to be like every location, but physical copies will be going to physical locations. So you should be able to get it there too. If you're a Books A Million person, you can get this at Books A Million. If you are an Amazon person only, if you and Jeff Bezos are bros, then you can get this from Amazon. You can get it from pretty much any Amazon ever. I found it on Amazon Singapore the other day. Blew my mind. Amazon Singapore. Like, my life is crazy.
There's an Amazon Singapore? That was my first reaction.
Yes. I'm looking forward to purchase your book at G-Fest this year, Daniel. Thank you, Brendan. I have a copy that I will save for you, sir. I'm very excited. Walmart. It's on Walmart.com. You can get a Walmart.com. It's everywhere. Walmart.
Dude, you should totally walk into a Walmart and see if you can find it. And then be like, hey, you person in the Walmart book aisle. See that? I wrote it.
That's fine. I don't know. I
that's
feel like
that's my baby.
I gotta enjoy my incognito-ness. Like nobody knows. Unless they grab it and they turn it to the back page and they hold up a copy and they're like, hey, take the hat off. Oh, it is you. Like that. They're never
okay. Danny.
Yes. Nathan.
Okay.
Nathaniel.
This is funny. I'm going to screen share this because this is funny. You of all people will get a kick out of this. So just as a bit of an experiment, I did an Amazon search for your book, and first off, I'd like to tell you it has a pre-saved search for the full title.
Okay.
I typed in G Cinema, and then one of the drop-down options was the full title. So I clicked on that. And the first thing that came up was your book, but look what else came up.
Oh no, I'm scared. What's happening?
What?
Oh. Whoa.
What?
Whoa. Okay, so
I'm not even sure this is a legitimate release of this movie.
No, it's not legitimate. So okay, couple things. This just gave me chills, and I'm going to very briefly tell you why. So for the listeners out there, what we're looking at is Amazon.com, and it's my book. It's the listing for my book, and then right underneath it is a bootleg copy of Atragon on DVD, which is really cool. But here's why it kind of gave me a moment here. So I don't know if I've ever told you this story, Nathan.
I mean, I will admit the cover is cool.
It's a cool cover. It's a cool cover, and it's not legitimate. So, oh my gosh, 15 years ago when I graduated high school, my original idea for what I was going to do was I was going to be a teacher. I was going to try to be a history teacher. And because that's like, that'll pay the bills, right? You know what I mean? But I signed up for the major and the classes and everything. I was just a month out from starting classes, and I left the sign up day at the college that I was going to with a pit in my stomach, and I couldn't figure out why. I was just like, I was so unsettled, like just deeply spiritually unsettled. And I put in Atragon to like I don't know why, but I picked Atragon. I put it in, and I was watching it and relaxing, and I was just watching it. I watched it a million times, and I just stared at it like unblinking. And it was like I was watching it for the first time, and I had a moment of revelation watching this film. And I turned, because my mom knew something was up, and she turned to me and she said, what's wrong? You're not looking so good. I'm watching this movie. I turned to her and I look at her and I say, I don't want to be a history teacher. I want to be an artist. I want to create things.
Wow.
Whatever it happened, art, writing, whatever. I'm looking at this very creative movie with all this hand-built art, this tactile, beautiful art with the physical props, and it's Atragon, it's Tokusatsu. And something about it just made me realize that I'd made a horrible mistake. And I turned to my mother and I said, I want to make things until the day I die. And she said, okay, we'll go back tomorrow and switch your major. And we did. And I pursued art and creativity. And now here I am. And there it is underneath my book. What?
Too bad.
That's crazy.
Too bad it's a bootleg copy, but still.
Well, I mean, it's fine. I'm going to take the metaphor, the symbolism.
Yeah, we'll take the metaphor. Although hilariously, the next thing on the list is this.
What are we looking at here? Oh,
Ningen Fushin adventurers who don't believe in humanity will save the world.
I'm sure that sounds epic.
The complete season Blu-ray.
What? I don't know what that is. Forgive my ignorance.
I don't know what that is either. And then you come down here and you get Uzaki-chan wants to hang out, season 2.
What? Okay. Turn this off. What's going on? I gotta get.
It's like, wow, affirmation of what I'm doing. What the Henshin?
What is going on? We gotta let these people go home.
Let's see. Apparently, you can. Well, I want to see what it's going on with the used copies over here. Let's see. New 34. New. But you got to pay for shipping, right? Ships from. All right, wait. Okay. It looks like you can get it a bit discounted. Let's see.
Right.
New. Someone's already selling a used copy.
Wow.
Someone is selling a used copy for more than an actual new copy.
They got one chapter and they were like, "Where's Godzilla?" And they gave up, and they're selling it. That's why.
Oh my gosh! What is this?
Nonsense is what that is. $50.
Used like new.
Nonsense.
Who are you? What is this? Who are you? Hey, Tabletto part.
Well,
who are you? What is wrong with you?
I don't know. I think you should keep my book, is what I think you should do.
Probably, but what?
I don't know. Anyway.
But yeah, there's already a few people selling used copies.
That's crazy. That's pretty crazy.
It's been what, a week?
A week. It's been 9 days. 9 days. That don't make no sense.
Okay. This is kind of epic. Look at the name of this seller. Bahamut Media.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty epic. All right.
Wow.
What can I say here? Briefly. I wrote a book. You can get it at all of the places.
Oxfordshire, England.
Yep.
Ooh.
Yep. Well, it's written, published in English. In English. Oh my gosh. It's published in England. Published in England. Fountain Hill's based out of there, so that makes sense. Okay. The book is out there. You know where to find it. I've told you where to find it. You can go find it. In addition to that, obviously the Godzilla Novelization Project is still very much a thing that is not going away. I haven't been able to touch it in a while because I've been up to my eyeballs in other projects. And I hate to say it, but paying projects too. I just bought a new car. I need to pay off a car. So, it's kind of helpful. But the Godzilla Novelization Project was, is, and forever will remain my baby. And I have big plans to do stuff with it this year. I do. I promise I do. If you want to follow along with my crazy Godzilla journey and look for updates on the book and future projects and the GNP and all that, the usual places, head over to the artist formerly known as Twitter and thanks me and check me out at Danzilla93_GNP, Elijah beat me to the punch on that. He knew what was going on. Also, Facebook is there. Probably before the end of the year, I will have an author website set up for myself. I'm overdue to do that.
Yes.
Very overdue.
Yes.
And probably an author-specific Facebook page and Twitter and all that good nonsense. I don't know. Probably Donnie recommended I get my Instagram working again. I don't want to do I don't like social media. I'm weirdly good at it, I think, but like I'm not a social media person. So adding another one is like pulling teeth for me.
I don't even, oh my gosh. I don't even, the ones I have right now for the podcast drive me nuts. I'm like, this is on the cusp of as much as I'm willing to manage. And yet here I have people who are like, you should start some of the same ones for your author stuff too. And it's just like, do you really want to double how many social media accounts I have to manage?
No, it's not worth it. That's why I've done all my promotion through the GNP. It's talking to the audience that's already there. I don't need anything else, but I am going to get an author website set up because I do really need to do that. So in addition to that, I mean, I'm all over the place. You're going to hear me on the Monster Island Film Vault here pretty soon and on a couple of upcoming episodes. You're going to hear me voice acting. You're going to hear me guest hosting. Next immediate thing on my list is G-Fest, which I will not get into here, but I'm going to be doing a lot of cool stuff, and I'll talk more about it later.
The one thing that is relevant, and I'm going to do like a little announcement, whether it'll be a video or just audio, I'm not sure yet, but we are allowed to announce this. But something that is relevant to everybody, regardless of which channel you are watching this on, if you come to G-Fest, as of this year, officially, Danny and I are the new full-time proprietors of the Kaiju Writers panel at G-Fest. It has now been officially and fully passed on to us by our dear friend Neil Reeve. So we will be running that again this year. That will be on Friday, and we are still going to do the seminar portion on Saturday. We're still working out some details about that. It will not be nearly as intensive because I think everybody would like that.
Yes.
Because Danny and I are in the top 3 busiest panelists of G-Fest this year.
A lot of panels.
And we
less
don't,
than last year, but
yeah, and we don't want to die.
We don't.
Yeah, I don't think I would die of exhaustion. It would probably be excessive caffeine intake if that is possible for me.
True. But G-Fest is going to be busy. It's going to be fun. The writers' workshop and the writers' panel is always a highlight. I'm looking very much forward to answering people's questions about the book because I now have some insights that will hopefully be able to help people and maybe answer their questions and inspire them to do stuff like this too, which is really cool. Lots going on there. Goodness. I have so many writing projects that I'm cooking up right now. I have so much going on. Not all of it is, I really can't talk about any of it, unfortunately, but I've got a lot of stuff going on. One thing that I can talk about is, and I mentioned it before, is I had the incredible pleasure of writing the screenplay, the narration screenplay for a documentary that is coming out here soon. A documentary that I also, oh my God, I've done so many things. Like I wrote it. I'm a creative consultant on it. I'm a historian. I'm a producer. A little number that Elijah Thomas is directing, and he and I cooked this up a while ago, called Keizo Murase, The Last Monster Maker, which is an absolutely, I can't believe I'm able to do things like this. It's just amazing. It's such a gift. Keizo Murase, ever so briefly, is the guy who sculpted your childhood. He made so many monster suits, and fabricated all of the parts of monster suits, whole monster suits for everything from Varan all the way up to just.
You did it, you crazy maniac! You did it.
He did it.
Coming to theaters, Mother Trucker
theaters. Let
me know. I will get it. I will get it played at my local art house theater.
Please do. If we can make that work, there's still a lot in flux right now. But as of right now, it's a feature. By the way, it's a feature-length documentary. It's not like a 34-minute short. It's feature length, and it is the most. And I'm not saying this in a braggadocious way. It is the most comprehensive chronicle of this man's existence from the day he was born to the day he passed away a few years ago, this is a man whose career stretches from the birth of tokusatsu to just a couple of years ago when he made Brush of the God. And it is the most exhaustive chronicle of his life ever made. I'll just knock that over. That's fine. It's absolutely amazing. The amount of material out there that we were able to gather and the people that we were able to get involved, including his family, who were generous enough to give a full blessing to this project. There's so much to talk about, too much to get into here. But this is an absolute dream project. It's our chance to pay homage to one of the a crucial pillar of why you love this stuff, right? This is the man who made the costumes. This is the guy. And he's no longer with us, unfortunately, but we wanted to pay tribute to him, and we have done so in, I hope, a way that is, worthy of his memory. It is called Keizo Murase, The Last Monster Maker. Elijah Thomas is the director. I wrote it. We have a great team of people working on it, and it is going to be the co-feature on the Brush of the God Blu-ray coming out from SRS Cinema that we talked about before. So that's happening, and yes, we can't say too much, but per Elijah's comment, coming to theaters, more info later. Kind of crazy that I'll have a film I wrote and a book I wrote released in the same year. Kind of bonkers. There's Brush of the God. For the listeners, we're looking at a picture of the Blu-ray as available on the SRS website. The beautiful Bob Eggleton artwork. But that's my big extra plug right now. I'm hoping that the next time we all get together, and maybe at or after G-Fest, I'll have more cool things to talk about.
Right here.
But there it is. In addition, 90-minute documentary on Keizo Murase will be included in the extras. Yes. And that should be coming soon, guys. I mean, that should be coming soon.
Cover by Bob Eggleton, by the way.
It's beautiful artwork. It's a stunning painting. It's just amazing. And I could get lost in that painting. And you're going to get lost in the movie too. Anybody out there who hasn't had a chance to see it yet, Brush of the God is out flippin' standing. And it is the honor of a lifetime to have anything that I touched on that disc at all. It's going to be an amazing disc. To your point earlier, Nathan, it's going to be an amazing disc. I'm very excited for people to get it and to see the film and to check out the movie we made too. It's going to be cool. Well, there's so much more.
Might have to do like a little live stream or something at the end where it's like, okay, guys, what's the best tokusatsu physical media release of the year? I'm fighting for Brush of the God.
I think it could be. And I say that with all the humility in the world. If it turns out the way that it's shaping up, and there's no reason for it not to, this is going to be a really special release that, above all, is honoring an incredible singular figure in the history of this genre that we all love. It's going to be a tribute to him. We wanted it to be a tribute to him. So that's what we're doing. And it's going to be really cool. There's so much more I'm working on, and I could sit here forever and talk because I'm very ridiculously busy, but that's the most of it. That's the thrust of it. It's books and documentaries and conventions. Okay. One more thing. I lied. I'm going to be, if you are in Dallas or will be going to Dallas.
Oh yes.
I have to mention this. I mentioned J Key earlier. Toku Toy Town, YHS on Monster Island, one of the best humans maybe ever. Such a nice guy. You can attest to that, Nathan.
He's going to be one of the first people I go to at G-Fest. It's like, so what do you got?
Yep. Give J Key your money, everybody. Do it. He did something so generous for me. I don't even have words to talk about how much it means to me, but I will be a guest of Kaiju Go in Dallas, Texas in mid-August. I will be, I'm in Ohio, so I'm being flown in, and I'm going to be at the show on Saturday. It's a one-day special event with toys and art and film screenings, like official film screenings, sanctioned film screenings. And I'm going to be on stage introducing Ebera Horror of the Deep, aka Godzilla versus the Sea Monster. That's a bucket list thing that I was actually I didn't even dare put that on my bucket list.
Like, who gets to do that? So to Jay Key, if you're out there listening, I've thanked you about 1 million times. I'm going to thank you again right now. Thank you for this amazing opportunity. I cannot wait to do it. If anybody's going to be traveling down there or will be in Dallas at Kaiju Go, look for me. I will have copies of the book. I would love to chat with you. And come see Ebero Horror of the Deep, and then go see Elijah, who will also be there introducing Monster Seafood Wars, which is an absolutely hysterical Minoru Kawasaki kaiju comedy, also available from SRS Cinema on Blu-ray. Highly recommend that film. And Bob Eggleton will be there introducing Godzilla vs. Hedorah, which is awesome. It's going to be a great event, and I'm pinching myself that I'm going to get to be a part of it. So that's it. That's my last thing. We got to let these poor people go to bed. We've been talking,
including us.
I would also. Bed is good. I like that.
Yeah. And I've got another. Wait, let me see.
You got some.
I'm on like page 160, so I got about 70 pages to go.
Yep, something like that.
About 70 pages. Yeah, about 75 pages.
Pretty busy 70 pages. 70 pages. Nathan, before we go, I have to thank you now. This was a really, really lovely chat. Great questions, a lot of fun stuff to talk about after having this book kind of cooped up in my brain for years and, not being able to talk about it for a long time. And now that people are actually able to read it, and you've been able to read it, it's been very nice and just really, really cool to hear people say, what they have to say about it, and ask questions, and especially writer to writer, hearing some of your insights and your questions. Very deeply appreciated. This was a lot of fun. Thank you very, very much for having me come on, and not just because we're pals, but because you invited me to talk about this book, because this is really cool. And I hope you continue to enjoy reading it. I hope you do. I hope it reminds you. This will be relevant by the time you finish the book. And I won't say any more than that, but I hope that it helps remind you, because we all need it sometimes, that Godzilla is special, and loving Godzilla is special. And because he's a part of your life and you care about this stuff, you are special. That's the ethos of the book. And if you take that away from it after having read it, then I will have done my job. So thank you.
You're welcome. And I think I have the best line to end this on, and I'll have you finish it, because you of all people will be able to. Maybe that's because
Godzilla is inside each one of us.
Thank you for listening to the Monster Island Film Vault, a podcast produced and hosted by Nate Marchand. Our executive producer is Damon Noyes. If you want to be heard on the show, we'd love to hear from you. So, email us at monsterislandfilmvault@gmail.com or leave comments on YouTube or Spotify. Check the show notes and monsterislandfilmvault.com for Linktree links to all of our socials, including our Facebook group and Discord server, The Markolite Lounge. Be sure to follow Jimmy from NASA and our other colorful characters on X/Twitter. Our logo was created by Rebecca Hudgens. Follow her on X/Twitter and Instagram at super_R_illustrations. Sound effects sourced from freesound.org and created by JP Gant. Our theme song is Wanderer on the Offensive, live edit by B33J, Sarax, Juan Madrano, and Nonsensical Lexus, which is a remix of Counterattack and The Open Way by Koatani from Shadow of the Colossus. Our music includes Ultraman Rap, Artist Unknown, and Chant My Name, a cover by Second Archive of the song by Masaki Endo, with additional tracks from the 4Kids dub of Ultraman Tiga. All film and audio clips belong to their respective copyright holders, and no infringement is intended or implied. Visit our TeePublic store, the Monster Island Gift Shop, to purchase official MIFV merch. Please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and or Podchaser to spread the word about the show. You can even support us by joining MIFV Max on Patreon. MIFV is a Moonlighting Ninjas media production and a proud member of Pod Nation and the Culture Box Network. Sayonara!